I just saw it. Do you like this asshole? Let me see.
When Ironwood fled and stuff
Yeah, that
too,
looks fine, Cameron.
did he take Team 1 with him? Or whatever the fuck those guys were called?
Yes. No.
We're gonna need a fucking list of all the people that we actually did save out of that fucking simulation.
It's fine. Anyways, we should start reading the terrible
He
fanfic.
took the runner with him, everyone else are expendable.
Yes.
Hmm.
Well, let's start reading the terrible fan fiction, because that's what we're here for, sadly.
Alright, Kitty, open your document.
My document, no.
Nah, I'm messing with you. But yeah, let's get to Cyanide Sin's awful trash.
Okay, so for a moment my mic disconnected because I jostled the cord for it, so... 1 second to move things around, be in a comfortable reading position, nice and leaned back. Adjusting everything. And, oh yeah, I have to take things off my side table. Oop. Accidentally jostled things again. Books everywhere. It's the problem when you have to research things. Okay. Let me just lean back here. Let me just lean back here. Then we get right into the reading there. Okay. No, it doesn't feel like it's been a week since the last reading. Very weird.
Pretty sure it hasn't.
It has.
Alright, it has. I just can't remember anything that fucking happened last time.
I can't remember No, I can. I can remember the last week. It just was a fucking blur. It went by so quick, man.
Hey,
Anyways.
our expecting was very enjoyable, so that makes sense.
Well, I mean, like, the entire week, all the 5 days and all that, but whatever. Broken Fangs by Cyanide Sins, Chapter 18. A Deer Taken for a Ride. Summary is thus. Yang, Summer, and John on a bed. Ew. Blake's getting to hear the truths that are fed, and Yang's getting her bang from her man. Gay.
Was that an attempt to rhyme?
It sounded like he was
Yang,
trying.
Summer, and John on a bed. Blake's getting to hear the truths that are fed, and Yang's getting a bang from her man. I guess he just gave up at the end there. Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah. You can fuck off with that Dr. Seuss wannabe inane faggotry.
Dr. Seuss wanna be a name faggotry.
Jesus.
1 rape, 2 rape, 3 rape, 4 rape.
1 rape, 2 rape, 3 rape, 4 rape. Oh, God.
I guess Corbin just peaced out.
It's like trying to describe curious free time. It's just rape everywhere.
Rape, 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 rape,
Thanks,
rape,
Paul.
rape. Anyways, the award for lengthiest comment of 2019 goes to Jack the Spades. A good explanation for my lacking quality is that I'm writing on average 60k words per week. That is ridiculous. Sorry for the lacking quality. I'll try to do better next year. English is a 4th language. So yeah, sometimes it's a bit hard to get things all down in proper English. I'll still try to do better. Holy shit.
You live in England. You live in England. How is it a 4th language?
He could be an immigrant. That's fair.
An immigrant who knows 3 other languages?
That's if you're European. No.
Carrier.
If you're European, that is totally plausible.
Yeah, if you're an Englishman or American, yeah, that might be fucking weird. But European, yeah, 4 languages isn't unheard of. Hell, some people are working on that. They got 6 or 7 languages on average.
It's average in Canada for people to know too. So if you're in Europe where there's that many different languages and cultures going on around you, and you're traveling between the different states, because EU, yeah, it makes sense that you'd know multiple languages.
It's mostly Eastern European minor languages, but still.
Well, no, there's how many fucking languages in Central Europe? Just concentrated around Germany and France. But anyways,
We'll talk about the ones that usually move in and out for countries. You don't see Frenchmen and Germans moving out of past the borders often. It's mostly Eastern Europeans coming in.
oh yeah,
Say,
Polish, Romanians, Slovaks, all those people. But
yeah.
Regardless, it doesn't excuse this garbage.
Oh no, there's a poor excuse for terrible writing, and if you know your stuff is terrible, slow the fuck down.
Yes.
Nobody is itching. Nobody is needing this. It's like
60,000 words in.
except for maybe one story I read, I've never sat at the edge of my fucking seat waiting for a fanfic to update.
I was gonna say,
Anyways.
how about instead of writing 60,000 words of garbage, you slow yourself down, think, take your time, and write, I don't know, 10,000 words of.
Speaking of which, Kitty, when are you gonna update?
It's planned for Sunday. I'm about halfway through it, and it's going to be quite long because it's focusing on pure character interactions.
Good, because then it might actually be paced.
Take your time.
Yeah, I have to take my time.
Yeah, you should take your time. But that's my point. It's like one of the only fanfics so far I've actually been excited for getting updated.
Also,
no.
Also, if he has a editor or whatever, which he doesn't, but if he had an editor that's is a natural English speaker, he should be able to just point out all the fucking errors here. So.
Well, you yourself said there's not many spelling errors, so maybe the editor just does a spelling pass.
I was gonna say it's fucking, and maybe he's just checking for grammar in Microsoft Word, but there are so many other errors. It's not that the words are spelled wrong. Like, for example, he'll say said instead of saying said, he'll say sad, and that's technically a correct spelling of a word. So
It's a correct spelling, so it's not going to be picked up, but
Yep.
it won't be found by like a checker program, which is probably what
It'll
an
still
editor
have
would look at.
it'll have a green. It usually have a green line over the sentence if it doesn't have a subject.
It depends on your...
How long your sentences are, there's probably some subject in there somewhere.
It also depends on which software you're using. So if you're using WPS like I do, it does not give you that green thing. It'll give you a red squiggly if you've got anything that's incorrect there, and if it's more often than not a false flag because it doesn't have your specific denomination of English in it, then oh the fuck well. That's why I use Grammarly. But anyways,
regardless, his work is garbage, and let's continue.
yes, we should. We've wasted 10 fucking minutes. We've wasted 10 fucking minutes on the first fucking paragraph, which is just an author's note.
That's not beyond us.
Let's do this. She watched the older woman tease her master, who was looking still a little uncomfortable with the fact he had decided that he would take her as his wife. She couldn't help but suppress a faint hint of desire for that spot, the words of the woman still bouncing around in her mind like the fading echoes of her voice. What? He had been a wonderful husband for me. A husband. She remembered the vision, the touch of that hand on her own, the children that she would have with him. Her master's eyes did not shy away from her as others would when around a slave. She was his faunus, and it mattered not what anyone else thought of her. Summer, aye. His master was acting coy, so she joined him, leaning against him and being affectionate. Does master want his little daughter to make his wife-to-be feel pleasure? She glanced at the silver-haired woman, finding a humored smile on the woman's lips. Summer Rose was enjoying his embarrassment as she leaned forward, showing some of her cleavage. Listen to your pet, Sean. Wait. What was the voice I was using? It was
German.
It was
You
Mickey
were
Mouse.
using Kermit the Frog.
No, it was Mickey Mouse.
You were using Kermit the Frog.
Oh no.
No, it was Mickey Mouse for summer. Listen to your pet, Sean! Do you want to have your little pet slurp on your manhood while you service me in the bedroom? There are a few special things that you can do with a phonus. Her master flushed, which was, quite frankly, adorable. Yang rubbed her breasts against her owner's side, noticing that he was aroused from the increased thumping of his heartbeat. She liked that. My master deserves the best of the best, Lady Rose. The woman nodded as her fingers touched over the master's face. He didn't shy away as Summer Rose brushed over his face, seemingly smoothing out the creases of worry and affectionate touch. That'll be an affectionate penis. He wouldn't mind being touched by the woman either. It felt warm, like she'd gained a real mother.
What the fuck?
Please do this. Please do ensure that this phonus is fit of service, Sean. There was something in her voice, breathy quality. Breathy quality. Watching the master's face with that desire. I'm sorry, I'm just laughing at how I said the line, and it fucking doesn't have that at all. She saw the heartbeat pick up as the hand slid down, the lacquered fingernails tracing over the chest. Naughty boys need to be punished. The woman smiled, and her master just groaned. She kept pushing against him, her breasts bumping against his side. She could not see the look on his face, exasperation, the godmother that she'd only learned the existence of starting to giggle a little at his age-tempered features. Summer! The laughter from the shy, silver-eyed woman's lips was loud, nearly snorting with every breath she took. Yang liked it, smiling at her. It wasn't polite to smile in the company of one's superiors, but she could not help it. The master did not mind, and neither did her godmother. Her horny godmother. This isn't funny, Summer. My dick.
Oh, my dick!
That isn't in the line.
I know.
Her master sounded a little put out. She could risk it. He wouldn't be mad at her. She pulled open a few of the buttons, showing her cleavage, his eyes distractedly gazing at her. She was proud. She was proud of her tits. They were all for him. But if I wanted to give you a treat, master, would you deny Lady Rose the opportunity to deliver something truly wonderful to you? Yeah, baby. She did put her best pleading look, and he smiled at her, the scent of his body changing to... scent? To arousal. Okay. Her hand groped his manhood. It was hard, and she entrusted that her touch was accepted, showing her weakness to the other woman as her fingers groped and squeezed the outline haunt. Her master... Hold up. Italics, her, and italics, masters, italics, cock, and italics. What?
Right writing.
What? It should... Oh, God.
You're recording, right?
Yes?
Oh boy, eventually you're gonna have to show him this bit and just go, yes, this is not acceptable.
This is not good. This is not good.
I'm shocked silent.
Sorry, I don't hate you, but my God, this is not good. Please,
Don't worry,
just...
Cyanide, if you ever see this, we don't hate you, we just hate your writing and want you to improve. It's been more than a year now.
Oh, Kitty, don't worry, it'll get better later this chapter.
We haven't even got to the sex yet.
Something shrilling. Her tongue slid over his neck, leaking a trail of saliva, sliding up over the skin and tasting the sweat, the salty flavor making her feel a thrill of illicit pleasure. Okay then. Lady Rose smiled and then came up on his other side, starting to kiss his lower jaw. Feather-light kisses as her master gasped, his cock swelling under her grip.
You know how unsexy it is to kiss someone's lower jaw?
Maybe this is just my experience, but I usually don't gasp when a woman touches my dick.
I'm just stuck on the whole yes, kiss on my jaw. Like where is the feeling in that? That sounds like an alien trying to make its way around the human biology.
Okay, well, that's a bad description of foreplay that's very common. Like, extremely common foreplay for women.
Really?
Yes. That is
fucking, excuse me?
It is extremely common. It's a person going, like, up from your chest, kissing up your neck, and then down up your jaw and to your mid-lips. It's extremely common. It's just a very bad way of describing it.
That's a terrible way of describing it. Jesus.
Yes. But I'm just, like, he's gasping as...
Oh, my dark.
Oh, my penis. Oh, my God.
You could just have him moaning slightly, and that would make it... No, fuck, I don't care.
Even that's a bit too much for me, personally. Doesn't match my experiences at all. But... I find I hope you'll enjoy the both of us.
Have fun with that line.
It hurts just to read.
Gotta
read it out loud then.
Oh. Making a little... Wait. Okay. Making a little rose bush get all that big, heavy cream. Oh, God. It's so terrible. A hand that was rougher and yet still delicate joined her own in the massaging as the woman's fingers deftly brushed over his groin, adding some stiff touches to Yang's own delicate one, the woman's dexterity obviously greater than hers.
You're just jerking off. Why do you need dexterity to do that?
Would you deny your Would you deny your fiancé? He coughed. Someone cleared their throat, audibly, with distaste showing through it. Yang's excitement died a quick death as she could see the mother of her master standing in the door opening, her expression not looking as pleasant as before. She shrank away, not wanting to make herself a target. Faunus were not allowed to be bold. Summer Rose, whilst I do allow you to engage with your fiancé, do keep things modest. Summer's head turned to face her friend. Yang caught the look of what might be some fondness on the other woman's face. It wasn't as much of a shock to the other woman, or perhaps there had been something else, something that she had bore witness to. The mother of her master had looked almost a little warm, as if it was expected love for one's friends, for one's child. Oh, Lord. Modesty's for sissies, Azzy. I was going to use the little dough here to give your son a little slice of rose-tinted heaven, but alas, caught, foiled. Oh, it hurts. Her master was still aroused, and Summer's hand continued its as Summer's dramatic exclamation rose from her lips, as Yang's hands went to the skirt to smoothen?
Smooth?
To smoothen?
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 Smooth is one of those words that you can't change it.
Smooth is...
Yeah, there's smooth, smoother, and smoothest. There's no smoothen.
Smooth functions the same no matter the tense. It hurts. She had to appear modest and at her master's service. Azalea Ark looked at her directly, Judging cold eyes peered at her, not a single hint of warmth within them. She was reminded of the time when she had been forced to kiss the feet of the woman, a sign of submission, subjugation to one higher in the ranking of this world. Humiliation, yet it was what she had done to survive. A woman who bears no slights.
Am I the only one who's Kitty? Wow, Davey here is Mike keep cutting out.
No, it's fine on my end.
Okay, maybe it's just me then. Never mind.
Might be just
Going in and out of Discord.
She knelt as was proper once gazed at by the highest authority. She knelt as was proper. Once gazed at by the highest authority in the household, she would need to present herself as a slave. The woman was a dangerous existence, much like her previous owner. Her knees rested on the ground, her head bowed. She could hear the steps of feet, smell something heavy and herbal from the woman's body. Medication? No, salve. It's medication. 9. Salve. It's definitely a salve. Now, don't have a cow... Now, don't have a cow about that. You should be happy that your son landed someone sexy like me. Her godmother's voice was chipper and upbeat as she felt a hand seize her by the horn, and her head was tilted back to look at the woman who held the power in the household, as far as she knew it. Cold blue eyes, devoid of much care of empathy for her plight, stared right down into her own for a long moment. She was not afraid of the woman. Her master would protect her. He was the man she was dedicated to. My daughter, Juniper, tells me you've learned how to speak. The words were spoken slowly, as if she were some stupid faunus, the higher language spoken with clear pronunciation. She watched for a moment, trying to make sure that she heard correctly. Her gaze peered into the cold blue eyes of the mother of the man she loved and craved the touch of. The master has taught me words. I do not speak well yet. The language was tricky to speak, but she would get the hang of it. The woman's eyes seemed to grow even colder as the hand jerked her head back, her gaze directed towards her son. She felt the pain in her neck increase as she felt the woman's hand move. Jean, why are you teaching a mongrel to speak our language? That your father's faunus speaks it is as expected, yet this one is just a toy for venting your desires. It does not need to know how to speak or write or appear in polite company. It just needs to serve you.
Jesus Christ.
Sorry, just give me 1 second here.
And Kitty died, ladies and gentlemen. Broken Fangs killed him. Shocking. Absolutely shocking.
And this is how the story of Kitty ended.
Reading Broken Fangs. Where the fuck did he finish? I'll pick up an instead.
No, it's fine. I had a massive glob of spittle in my throat that I had to get out.
Yeah, because you're reading trash. Your body is trying to stop you.
Okay, I'm back up and going. Her master's voice came from the side after a moment, as her neck hurt. The one wasn't paying attention to her comfort, waiting for her son to answer the question. Mother, Artemis told me that there is some merit to having a scribe around. The woman made a discordant sound in her throat as Yang felt her horn being released. She lowered her gaze immediately. Those who were proud of their faunushood were punished. She could feel a hand brush over her neck above the collar, her master touching her collar, and things were all right again. Do not get attached to your pets, Jean. We can replace them if they grow old or get a defect. They are just faunus. Their life has only value in their servitude. She knew that. Being a whore had made her realize that things for faunus were dire, and that struggling against the system would just invoke more pain. She did not want her beloved one to suffer. The cat was wrong even to think about her dream of rebellion. The master's fingers touched her neck. She had to fight not to lean up against his touch. Nothing would harm her whilst he was around. She trusted him to keep her safe because he was the one who was here. Was hers.
Here's.
Who was here's? I know, Mother. Juniper is the one keeping watch tonight, right? He asked his mother whilst his fingers touched the skin below the collar around her throat, giving her a spark of that tension. She inhaled slowly, feeling another hand toy with her hair, Summer's fingers brushing through the long mane. The touch was unnecessary, but it made warmth flow through her. She will be, once she's slept. She hasn't had much rest these past days. The woman's voice was irked, her son's voice speaking up after a moment of thought. Yang didn't mind, knowing that the master was there with her. Wherever he would go, she would accompany him. She slept a little last night. Yang was a good faunus. The woman gave an audible sound of disgust as her hand grabbed her by the horns, and Yang winced in pain as her head was pulled up and she met those cold, disdainful eyes once more. The woman's face, easily 10 years older than her godmother's, stared down at her with that faint disgust curling in her features. You are nothing, Faunus. Summer, will you be leaving shortly? The matriarch's hand let go of her horns, and she lowered her head again. She was nothing to humans. To the Faunus, she was something that was low in respect, as deer were often thought to be meek and skittish. The blood of her father and his father burned in her veins as she suppressed the urge to lash out to this woman who declared her nothing. Pride within the man she had chosen as hers, pride to show this woman who dared to declare that her feelings and her body was nothing, still swelling, as she suppressed the urge. I should be leaving, yes. I think you can give me 5 minutes or something with Jean and his little pet. No funny business. I just need to talk for a little bit about... The embarrassed sound was there as her mother's hand seemed to move a few times. Her godmother's hand seemed to move a few times, making a gesture with the hand, an understanding sound as Azalea Ark seemed to get the implication of what it meant. Not a very good image for the young girl, indeed. She'll have to suffer the ignoble fate of having a stepfather who is close to her own age. Her godmother made a hollow sound in the back of her throat, a mirthless laugh at odds with her earlier playfulness. There was something in the woman's voice that was manic, something shrill and touching to the darker emotions inside Yang's body. What did you see? Better than the alternative, Azalea. Much better than the alternative. Your eldest has a gift. The mother of her master made a soft... The mother of her master made a soft, scoffing sound, shifting in her stance slightly, her body shifting slightly to the master, afraid that the woman might kick her to vent her emotions. More akin to a curse. The woman grumbled under her breath, though her master did not seem to be too disturbed by the thought. He was a loving young man who loved his family. She could feel that. He had been kind in the visions, and he was kind to her as well. No matter. You can rest assured that I will... Wait. No matter. You can rest assured that I will be gone soon. I've got a Faunus to track down and muzzle. There was an angry undertone to the woman's voice as the older lady of the House Ark gave a curious sound, obviously interested as to what was going to happen. Is it really that bad, Summer? Are you going to take the standing forces? The woman's voice was heavy as she seemed to caution Summer about something. Though Yang didn't know what the standing forces are, Summer Rose gave an angry sound. Yang's throat suddenly snagged by the collar as the woman pulled it up. 3 Faunus would fight for your family, Azalea. This is one of them. Do you know what happened to you? Not good things. He survived because the crocodile shoved him somewhere safe. We would lose everything we loved if that woman was not seized and given her education.
I can hear you slowly dying inside reading all this.
Oh, the Mickey Mouse sounds. I picked the wrong fucking voice for that, but I have to stick with it. She talks way, way, way too much for it to be entertaining.
No shit.
Like, girl, shut up. I don't want to hear
Shut
about...
up, woman. You're not funny.
Oh, fuck off.
Shut up. You're a woman. You're not funny.
Abused and neglected male reader, shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up, abused and neglected male reader. Yang could not see the look on the other woman's face, but she heard the master gasp. His pulse seemed to quicken, and his hand gently pushed the collar down out of Lady Rose's grasp, her breathing coming a little heavier with the words, "You saw the gallows?"
That was John.
Wait, no, that was John, yeah. I just noticed. "You saw the gallows?" There was a sadness to the master's voice, a sadness that seemed to be deeper than anything that she'd ever heard. Loss and pain, hurt and something more, curling through that voice
Hurt and something more.
curling through that voice like a sweet symphony of disturbing emotions. At the end, yes. There was something that the woman wasn't quite telling as she took a deep breath and then exhaled slowly, letting the air escape from between her teeth, a soft, raw voice speaking up. "I'm just warning you, Azalea. Keep a good eye out on Fall."
Stop using something.
Something.
Something tells me that this author needs to think of something else to use instead of something.
Look. Eyes.
Look, they'll figure it out one day. If they just look for the issues, they'll find it out someday. Oh God. No there as a hint of something in the woman's voice, something that was terrifying, a rage that was not to be denied. I'm going to just repeat that for you so you can hear it again. There as a hint of something in the woman's voice, comma. As. It's supposed to be was, oh my God. A rage that would not be denied. She could feel it shiver through her senses. Something that filled her with that very same rage in a flash. No matter what your husband says about her suitability, something is off with that woman, and I don't want my husband to end up harmed.
3 full stops.
Her master's fingers brushed over her nape and the mother of her master's side, Azalea Arc giving a light sound of disgruntled feelings. Yang did not know what she meant, but the woman clearly had some sort of decision. Or had come to some sort of decision. There we go. Arya does what he wishes, Summer, but seeing you added to the family roster would make him at least consider the merit of breaking the engagement. And the man's name is Arya, as in Aryan.
Arya, yeah, John's dead.
Why?
Hello.
Why is he named Aryan?
Hello, I am the son of Aryan. I am the true Aryan.
And
I am heir to Aryan. Fuck off.
And you know what's even confusing later on? Even more confusing?
What?
Is that apparently John's grandfather or whatever, it was either John's grandfather or his great-grandfather that comes up later was also named John. And the author of Cyanide Sins there'll be scenes or whatever with John talking to his grandfather John, and he doesn't put like John Jr., so there's just 2 Johns and you don't know who the fuck is talking.
Yeah, sounds like him.
I shit you not.
So, Kitty, how does it feel having a character called John have a son that's called Aryan John, or Alien John, or whatever, and then have
John, Aryan, then John. Okay.
John, Aryan John. And John is the heir to the Aryan.
He's the heir to the Aryan throne.
This is the kind of writing I expect from you in a shit post, not.
Oh yeah, by the way, John's dad is actually secretly the emperor, the emperor of the Faunus. So yeah.
God, Emperor of Mankind, actually.
He's the emperor to the Faunus. I shit you not. I just want to die. Kill me.
That's fucking stupid, but okay, let's keep going.
He's the emperor to the Faunus because he wrote his name on a stone.
Well, that explains why he's called Aryan. The Faunus are Nazis, after all. Anyways. The master's mother seized her chin, her cool eyes staring into her own. The woman's lips were set with such a distasteful manner that Yang shivered, but there was something else, or something in those eyes that just told her that, at some level at least, the woman was regarding her as something that could hold her attention!
An obsession with eyes, I swear to God.
Eyes, look, 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 eyes, eyes, look, eyes, look, eyes, look, like, eyes, like.
154 looks. Where's eyes? There's eyes. 119 eyes. Where's something? Where's this something?
Can I just continue, please? I've had my aneurysm. Serve my son well, mongrel. Your life is meaningless compared to his. He is my only son. If you must die, then so be it, as long as he lives. She looked into the woman's...
How many times are we going to repeat the fucking plot point?
As many times as it takes for Cyanide to finally get it through his mind that we know. We knew from chapter 1. It has been established, it has been explained, nobody needs to know. Nobody needs to hear it anymore. But, let us continue while I jangle my keys for some reason. She looked into the woman's eyes deeply, seeing a mother's sincere request. The dismissiveness that came with her being a faunus replaced by the maternal need to see that one's offspring was all right and safe. It was natural that she would fight for him. She had decided that he would be hers. As long as I live, he will live. My son will set as his son sets. My breast quietening when his own fails. Before him I served others. After him I shall serve no longer. Traditional words, but she meant every one of them. It was not an oath upon a garden of peaches, yet she would take her life if his life was taken from this world. She stared into the eyes of the woman, whose disgusted look was visceral in its own way, a smack to her cheek, the head turning slightly from the force that the woman had used. She hadn't expected it, but she kept her aura from flaring up at the hit. Disgusting! An animal reciting one of the classics, as if it has a right to walk amongst us humans. She kept her tongue, returning her gaze back towards the woman. The woman might disapprove, yet she needed but one person's approval. Her gaze did not go to him, yet she felt his presence. Her godmother shuffled a little awkwardly. It was not her godmother's place to comment on treatment of the faunus of the household that she was to join. I think of it as touching that she would go to such a length for me, mother. You're a good faunus, Yang. She smiled. The words were what she needed at this moment. She knew that the master would...
That was transitioning.
Yes, very.
Like, that was almost fucking creepy.
She smiled. The words were what she needed at this moment. She knew that the master would make her safe. The disapproving look from her master's mother was not something that she would bother with. Your other faunus pet will be engaging in re-education with Ash, Jean. I hope you will join me for some tea later. The woman swept out of the room, leaving her son and her friend and soon-to-be daughter-in-law alone to be daughter-in-law with Yang. He looked at her with a smile. No, it'd be with a penis. And with a smile, comma, Yang's lips curling into a smile as...
Smile, 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 smile.
As well as
she watched her mother's...
That's where you put a comma, you dumb fuck. Sorry.
As well as her godmother looked... As well as she watched her godmother look at her with a look that was worn out. A look that... With a look that was a look.
A look that was a look that was her being worn out.
You know how to fix that sentence? Look at her... fucking mother of God.
He looked at her.
He looked at her, worn out, or she looked worn out.
As her godmother looked at her, exasperated. Looked at her, comma, adjective. It's so simple.
Looked at her, worn out. Even that sounds awkward, but it's better than looked at her with a look that was worn out. God damn.
I'm glad that he at least got some, critique. Because, god damn, this is awful.
That's a mighty heavy oath to give, Funness. Her godmother's voice was soft as she ambled towards the bed, sitting down on her master's bed after checking whether it would impede her comfort. The woman's eyes were heavy as she laid herself down with a deep sigh, looking up at the ceiling. The woman sounded tired as her eyes looked aimlessly at the ceiling. Ah! Come on, man!
She looked up at the ceiling.
She was tired as she looked up at the ceiling. She sounded tired as she looked up at the ceiling.
Oh, it's like he's mocking us.
It's like a shit post.
I was gonna say, even if you translate this over from English, like from another language into English, I don't know any language where you repeat the same sentence twice. Honestly, in English,
Oh my god.
Mamma mia! Here we go again.
She's a very good Faunus, Summer. Yang felt like she wasn't. She wanted to do more for him. She wanted to feel the master be happy. To bask in the warmth of his presence. She got up with a slow motion, walking to him and giving him an embrace. It felt nicer than to kneel, his hand brushing over hers. She was shorter than he was, but that mattered not. Her eyes looked into his own, the warm blue meeting her own lilac color. The purplish sheen was still present. She loved him. Her heart beat faster, and with every moment she lingered, her lips forming a smile that came from her heart.
Ew.
Yang.
A smile that came from her vagina.
She heard his voice speak her name, shivering slowly as his hand made its way up her back. It was not proper to show this to another human. What?
We ever gonna get past
Talking
that
about
point?
she's talking about Summer being there.
It was not proper to show this to another human, but she couldn't stop. She knew that her master was absorbed inside her. I don't know who it's talking about. I am trying to return to monkey.
Return to monkey.
We live in a society.
We live in a society and we all just need to die. God.
Master Lady Rose is here.
Your Master Lady Rose is here. He snapped out of his daze and looked apologetically at Summer, whose morose look was heavy.
Morose?
Somebody used a thesaurus that day.
I'm not even bothered by the use of morose here. I'm bothered by the fucking fact you have to add that it looks heavy. Morose is enough.
I was gonna say, that's my point, or that's my problem with it, is that morose is already heavy. It's like saying heavy.
Silver eyes that made her feel a spark of fear if she peered into their depths for too long looked at the two of them, a soft smile on her lips. You are someone who makes people care, Jean. There was a wistfulness in the woman's voice as she looked at Yang. A long look. No, it's gonna be a long dick. She pushed her chest out, standing proudly next to her master, whose hand still brushed over her skin softly in a pattern slowly circling around it. Summer, the woman shook her head softly. She didn't look like she was very comfortable, but she wanted to say at least something to make sure that her master was happy as he could be. She could see the care in the woman's eyes. Yeah. I saw what you saw, Jean. I wasn't home, I was out. What? Fang's eyes could see the sadness in her eyes. There was a darkness in those eyes, too, something that made sure that she felt unhappy surge go through her. She could feel something inside the woman, something that resonated with her.
He's talking about the vision John had at the thingy, or bomber, whatever.
The Unabomber having fun. Ruby turned her weapon on herself. I found her. Wait.
Ruby turned her weapon on herself. I found her, as well as the remnants of her weapon, broken and twisted.
Oh. Her master seemed relieved to hear that, but Yang didn't believe it. To break a huntsman's weapon would require at the very least an aura-enhanced strength. To not terminate yourself with dust round would... Oh. The look in those eyes made sense. The master might not be aware of it, but Yang could see something in those eyes. That near despairing look that showed that one had taken a life of someone close to her. She felt sad for the woman. No one should have to kill a relative, least of all one who is directly linked to oneself.
Relative already means somebody that's tied to you. What the fuck else is relative gonna mean?
Well,
The
there's
theory of relativity.
there's a no. In English, there is your relatives, and then there's blood relatives, which are people who are actually blood related. So you can have relatives who are not blood related, like adoptive people who are adopted into your family, and like an uncle that married into the family.
Let's keep going.
Awful eyes away. What's the fucking point?
Just wait.
Just do it, Yang. Quick and easy, just like I told you. Don't let me suffer, my sonny little dragon. Set it off and run.
Nobody should have to kill a relative, even if it was a mercy. Her eyes looked barely phased as she remembered the dark time. Her eyes looking at the silver-eyed woman. She made her way over to the woman sitting down on the bed, stroking the woman's head. Her hair was soft and well-groomed, undoubtedly a result from whatever care regimen the woman had.
Are you focusing on this detail?
Why, of all things, did it stop to describe her hair?
They're fucking talking about killing your relative, or in this case, the woman killing her daughter so she wasn't raped to death by Faunus, and he stops to have a sentence just about how soft her hair is.
I mean, that describes the, what's the, tonal whiplash? Is that the word we're looking for?
Yes, tonal whiplash.
Yes.
I think at this point the whiplash is gonna break our fucking necks.
Man, that must have been horrible, he said.
You know,
That must have been horrible having to fucking shoot your daughter in the face.
Whoa, that must have been horrible.
I mean, that's terrible to shoot your daughter in the fucking face to avoid being raped to death by faunus. Anyway, have you noticed how your hair smells really nicely today?
Wow, having to kill your kid so they don't get raped must suck.
Oh my god, we have another great tonal whiplash coming up. Keep going, Kitty.
Yes, let me fucking go. He said, his voice a little choked up, sitting himself down next to Summer's other side, his hand going through the woman's locks as whoa, meeting up with hers for a moment. She looked at the woman whose face looked older than it had been.
It was. I wanted to kill every single last one of them.
The woman's voice was tiny as her eyes looked at him.
Besides my daughter, I have no other human that I would wish to risk my life for.
Summer's eyes met Yang's own as the woman turned her gaze to Yang's master. There was hope in those eyes, even Yang could see that, something that yearned for something more, something comforting.
Well, you'll get in that spot too, pretty boy. Summer's about to break your bed.
Oh!
Oh no! God, that... Jesus Christ!
I had to shoot my daughter in the face in that vision to prevent her from getting raped to death by the phonus. Anyway, you wanna fuck?
You wanna fuck so hard the bed breaks?
Anyways, I want to destroy the springs in your bed. Let's do it tonight. Night now. Right now.
Right after that whole thing, you know, shooting your daughter in the face, that's not gonna matter. Fuck me right now. Oh Jesus Christ, woman,
It
please.
gets me wet. Talking about killing my daughter gets me real wet.
Thinking about my kid being murdered and brutally raped gets me horny.
Jesus Christ, this fanfic, man.
The softness of her lips, a warmth that Yang could see within the woman that she'd have imagined her mother to have when she had been young, and asking for her father about the woman.
Excuse me? What the fuck was that? What was that sentence? What was that sentence?
That was so terrible. There are times in your life when you have to do the right thing, Jean. Do you know what your mother wants for you? Her master gave a short nod, Summer smiling a little. Happiness. So do
your sisters.
I'm just thinking about the wider context of that and how that's going to manifest in the future.
Oh yeah.
What
Happy.
the fuck?
She wants you to be happy, so go fuck your sisters.
Skin on skin, nothing up again.
Do your sisters, John. You must do the right thing.
You must do the right thing, Jean. Go bang
Also,
your sisters, especially
or else
Saffron.
Or else they'll accuse you of rape and kill themselves. So. I'm not joking.
Oh my god. Oh my god. So do your sisters. Your sister Saffron hasn't accepted any of the offers because she wants to see you safe. She wants to see you with something inside of her, actually. Yang doubted that, seriously, the woman was a degenerate who loved the company of other women. Her master smiled softly as his index finger tapped the huntress on the nose. Summer Rose was at ease, or at least it appeared to in Yang's eyes. So it appeared in Yang's eyes. The woman's breathing was even, and her eyes half opened, a lazy smile on her lips. Work.
Or
We're going to have
an amazing foursome, Jean.
excuse me? You just got done talking about how you had to kill your child, and now you're talking about fucking foursomes and him fucking his family members. Jesus Christ. I just want to be sure.
Lol, just shut up and
keep going.
just let me read the next fucking line. Her master stiffened in more ways than one. As Yang smiled, knowing that she would be appreciated for doing so, laying a hand on his groin. Summer Rose gave a teasing smile as her hand joined Yang's. Summer's hand was warm, as was her own. No, they're gonna be cold! Ice fucking cold, because they're dead!
My soul.
It represents my soul, Ruby.
I could turn into a ghost, Ruby.
Are you scared already, John?
Oh, God.
Can you see it already, Jean? This little doe getting herself some double rose attention whilst you make
Sure that Ruby and myself are adequately put to test.
I'm going ghost, Ruby. I'm going ghost. And shoot yourself in the face.
She felt him stiffen, her breathing heavier as Summer's fingers started to work on the zipper. A slow sound of unzipping as the woman's fingers slid into the pants, pulling that manhood out with a deft grip around the head.
You see, Meager, you can read.
Fucking Christ.
You want me to read this? Okay.
Why is she holding on to the head of the cock? That's ugh.
Oh, this next line. The that little kitten of yours? Do you want my little Ruby to pound her with one of those harnesses, like the little degenerate scum that the kitty might become?
I want to shoot myself.
Just the amount of casual incest and stuff and weird shit is it's just creepy, man.
On top of what he already thinks about Ruby and her family.
This is literally like the thing of like you're taking a shower and then a fucking sister walks in naked and she's like, "Oh hey brother, you want to have a shower together?" And you're just like, "Fucking no, get out, And then they're just like casually, "Oh yeah, let's go bang other people in front of our fucking family." It's weird, it's creepy. Ugh. Fucking everybody's fucking relationship is gonna be best described as tags on Pornhub in this fucking thing.
Fine, kitty, you want me to fucking keep going? Fine.
Yes. You're eager. You can do it. You can have fun.
There was distaste in the woman's voice, something deep and visceral. Yang could feel some sort of vindictiveness settle in her as the woman's finger slid down to the base of that engorging shaft. Her master was just too adorable, growing harder every second that they had their assault on his privates. The master's low moan was like an enticing lure as her tongue slipped over her lips. This was a good thought. That cat could learn a little from properly being broken in by the silver-eyed girl. It wasn't good to rebel against the master, because why should she rebel against someone who treated her so well?
You sound like TTS character.
I know, it's fine. Master, if you wish to properly instruct this faunus to bring the kitten. Her voice was hesitant as he looked at her. His eyes were looking at her, and his manhood throbbed in his drawing. The silver-eyed woman giving a lazy smile, her nose brushing against the shaft. With how the master was seated on the bed, the woman had easier access than Yang had, but the woman was still human. She could not smell the blend of pheromones that came from the young man's groin because humans don't have pheromones, you stupid motherfucker. That burning inside her telling her that he was receptive towards them. You're mine for tonight, Yang. The master spoke her name with that warmth. As he looked around the room, she smiled a little, the window showing the early afternoon's light, casting shade on the trees outside. I want you all to myself tonight. Don't mention Blake. She'll. His eyes looked sad and tired, as if the thought was something that wore on him. He shouldn't worry about the Panther's daughter, Yang thought. Blake Belladonna was just a betrayer. He cared too much for someone like I like that, though. Some tongue slid out of her lips, her master's eyes going wide as it slithered over the pale flesh of his lymph node, wrapping over the fleshy protruding veins. The woman inhaled slowly, and then exhaled, her breath caressing that manhood of his. Saliva made the veins that she'd already touched glisten, as an obscenely erect shaft stood there, her lips.
Good God, Courier! You could make a perfect Nazi fucking Nazi vampire extra in fucking Hellsing Abridged.
Yeah. The woman's body was heating up, and the roused scent lingering around her. The woman's eyes going up at the young man. It was the sultry look of someone intending to seduce, to bring the hope of him taking her to bed. A needy woman, as he could lead the look. It there within every motion of the woman's head. I had a stroke on that sentence. A kiss delivered to the underside. I'm going Jamaican now. A kiss delivered to the underside of the head before the woman's eyes opened wide in surprise and her head moved away from the shaft.
Before the woman's mind had opened up, she saw the shaft of the man enter into her pussy.
Papa Vulcan wants to read you a story. A flustered look remained on her face as she took a few deep breaths to steady herself.
That's it.
Asmodai,
Him and
make him
Asmodai,
repent.
just the friends.
Oh my god. Yes, sir. Nervousness seemed to surge through the woman, whose eyes did not look at her master as she straightened out. Yang could smell the arousal in the air, the woman's eyes not quite fading. She wondered why the woman denied herself that pleasure. She liked her master too, but could not quite admit it out loud. Why would she lie to him? He would accept her too.
I should not get too far ahead of myself.
She didn't understand why, but her master seemed to. He smiled in that good-natured manner, and the urge to claim him once more, and the urge to claim him once and for all rose to her, as this attempt of the other woman to lay claim to the man who would give her children let her feel that dark urge inside her.
No, not at all, Summer.
The woman held her hand up, stalling his words. She looked serious. As she looked down at his manhood, her lips parted and she gave a soft smooch to the head, impish and teasing. She winked at him, and the master moaned, her lips pulling from that head, another languid suckle that made him give a gasping breath and a shiver.
I'll be back in 2 weeks at most, a week at the quickest, but... Sean?
Her godmother looked serious as she stared into her fiancé's eyes. Jean looked at Summer, still half dazed. Summer's hand grabbed a hold of Yang's shoulders, pulling Yang to him. She looked at him, a smile on his lips as he gazed into her eyes.
Don't lose this one, okay? I like her.
Yang's master smiled and her heart sang to him. He was the kindest man she knew.
Summer, I like her. She's much better than Blake, right, Yang?
His head turned to look at her and she was lost in those eyes again. She didn't want to look away. She didn't need to look away. He was here with her. Or that should have been, if you wanted to fucking make that emphasis on that, you should have made that two sentences or put a comma or done something. Anyway, she would burn the world down before she would ever let this man be harmed.
Master!
His hands grabbed hers and she felt the warmth he felt. She wanted to grab his manhood, still standing erect like the Titanic.
Hold up. Is that actually in it?
No.
Oh, I would have laughed so fucking hard if that was in it.
Fucking it.
It stood erect like the Titanic, and it will sink like
Like
the
the
Titanic. It will be broken and it will sink.
Broken in two, yeah. But he pulled her closer, kissing her again. She let herself roll onto her back, allowing him full access to her body. Nothing else matters but you. It was love. It was not meant to be, of course, but she couldn't help it. Everything in this world was where she needed it to be. As his gaze locked with hers, and their tongues touched, it was a slow feeling inside her chest, a burning heat that seemed to wash over her, giving her tingling feelings.
See there, lovebirds?
She growled at Summer, disturbed in her
Tingling
musing
feelings,
on
eh?
those pleasant feelings.
I think that's
The
the
master's-
gonorrhea girl.
The master's eyes looked at her with that half-mystified manner, not even looking away from her. Those eyes were so pure and deep that she just wanted to look into them forever.
She's my pet, Summer. There's nothing wrong with loving your pets.
Yes, there is making love to them.
Yeah, fucking your pet is not okay.
I would not fuck my cat.
God,
Cat
just... No, my cat was so snuggly in it. No, oh, fuck.
There's nothing wrong with loving your pet, Curio.
Oh, God. He looked at her and meant it. It was a wrong feeling inside her, but she knew that there was nothing wrong with how she felt. If her body was what he needed, she would share it with him.
Good fondness, girl. Make sure that John is happy, Yang.
The personal endearment with her name was a nice entouchment.
Nice entouchment.
Touchment. I'm having a stroke. Her godmother smiled at her, patting John's cheek. It was a softness in the woman's face which made her believe those words of earlier. She would have been a better mother than her real biological mother would have been, Yang guessed.
Oh no, it's Cap.
I will, Lady Rose. This furnace is more than happy to serve her master.
Yeah.
Yang knew that the woman undoubtedly was someone who held some power in the world, being able to offer a plot of land if she so wished. That was a privilege that was rarely given to people, and Summer Rose looked like a dependable woman. Lady Rose left a minute. Oh, left after a minute. Lady Rose left after a minute, saying her goodbyes to the master, whose attention seemed to rivet onto her again, a smile playing along his lips. It was a smile that she enjoyed as someone who loved the young man much. Oh, let's get you reading, Yang. I've got some reading materials. He smiled at her and tucked his manhood back into his pants. She pouted softly as she did. A bit of fun might have been nice. She guessed that Blake was probably getting something done to her if she wasn't around the master. Perhaps she was getting punished. There was still some hope in her that such a thing might happen. She hoped it was good, because Blake was not someone worthy of her regard. She watched his smile as Tara entered with a small tray. Her master's small smile as Tara bowed respectfully for him. Yang knew that she was going to be with her master tonight.
Nobody is going to take what is mine. Oh, yeah. I need a bottle of water so my throat doesn't die. Hold on.
Well, he's
Summer is
gone.
dependable. Meanwhile, she wants John to ride every single woman in his household. Is
So
someone gonna...
this entire fan fiction is literally just a porno with like all of the pretext that it's just a porno and none of this plot should be taken seriously.
No,
but
no,
they're
that's
taking it
Fangbus.
seriously.
That's Fangbus. Different one.
Bang Bus is at least an actual porno, and he doesn't. I mean, he's trying to attempt to insert shit in there. Not as much as this, though. Not as much as this.
What I will say is that Sai is incredibly fucking red-pilled on women. So, it really does not surprise me that he'd write women this way, to be honest.
I mean, the problem isn't how he writes them, but it's not actually the extent of debauchery they go into. It's how he describes it that drives me up a fucking wall.
Yeah.
Women can be extremely debased, but they will usually hide it away. It's when they have absolute surety that nobody's gonna call them out on it that
Nobody
they
will
get real
judge them.
depraved. But this, most of the time, it's right next to people where they're like, "Ah, yes, I'm the most depraved woman in the lands."
Especially with Summer.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm ready to keep reading.
Oh yeah,
Have fun.
let's just break my. Let me just break your fucking bed, buddy.
Okay. Okay, ready. I say as my voice cracks or breaks. She awoke with pain between her legs, a heavy sensation around her ankles. Something was hurting her. Her eyes opening slowly to find herself within a dark room. Someone giving a light cough. Her nipples hurt. Her upper body hurt from some sort of treatment. Her mouth was stuffed with something, not able to be pushed out of her mouth. No shit. She felt that pain continue. A burning sensation as her eyes became adapted to the low light situation. I thought you were a fauna. Fuck it, whatever. She was in a room that looked like it had been crafted for the purpose of restraining. The shackles to the wall looking much like the ones in the cell that she'd shared with her other pet. It's not. What voice should I do for Blake? Should I do another Nazi voice?
Greta Thunberg.
Thunberg.
That's what I try.
Read it like that. Then I want to hear it so I can try to emulate it.
It's not fair. It's
Okay.
not fair.
Okay, I gotcha. The pale features of the misshapen one looked without much pity and care, the tail raised slightly. Blake realized that she was seated on something that was a little like a triangle, weights around her legs keeping her pinned there, a set of loops to keep her legs in position, her arms
Is she
raised
just
above her
fucking
head.
crucified?
No, she's on a horse. The medieval torture thing. The horse.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
But like the way it's described, so it's
It's fucking awfully described.
This is your punishment, girl. The aged voice did not sound very happy. She noticed that she couldn't move her mouth, that her jaw seemed to not work, her whole body shivering a little at the sensation that came through her. Red eyes looked at her without mercy, without pity or any sort of warmth. You are nothing for now. The horse is your punishment for defying the will of the masters. The aged voice was crisp and cool. that thread of burning rage through it like a whisper that did not cease. The other faunus observing her with cool eyes and control of her expression.
This isn't fair. Why am I getting punished for saying the truth? If he's changed, we will gain back what we've lost.
A gag was pulled from her mouth, cough and splutter coming from her lips. The fingers touching her neck did not make her feel happy, as she felt the
Wait.
semblance force her to speak. Yeah?
Hold up. So that was why she had the gag in her mouth?
I don't know why she had the... Because... Actually, no, there's no reason why she would have the gag in her mouth, because we already established or whatever, the fucking Ash or whatever, the lady can just, like, with her semblance, just make someone shut up, so...
I was thinking, for one, that it's retarded that she's in that situation when her entire semblance is to, you know, do this quieting thing. Second,
Or
she
making
said
someone feel... Or making someone speak the truth.
Yeah. Secondly, she said all that and then had the gag pulled out of her mouth.
Mm-hmm.
That's how the dialogue is set up, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Alright, just wanted to be sure. Yes, dear God, this is fucking bad.
The fingers touching her neck did not make her feel happy, as she felt the semblance force her to speak. She felt the injustice of it all as she spoke the words she'd been burning into her mind.
Why are they not punished? The degenerate one should be punished for raping me. Why do you serve the humans when you could fight for what was right?
She didn't know why she said that. The truth. Was that really the truth? Yes.
Well,
She didn't understand. She was not the bad one. No. The
she
master
was not the bad one.
The master was simply misguided. To her horror, her lips continued.
I will re-educate the master to see sense. He'll free us all. The ox will still speak for us. I can make him see sense, because he is the ox and he speaks for us. If we can just get enough people, we will not have to suffer another humiliation.
So at least we changed character from fuck all humans to at least we could change this one. He's a good Jew. We can put him in a concentration camp.
No. It hasn't changed to fuck all humans to keep this one alive. It has changed from fuck all humans to fuck all humans, and I'll use this one to do it.
I'm trying to give this one credit. Yes, this was Kitty.
Remember how a chapter or two ago she was like, oh, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm just not, like, thinking or whatever? Remember how she was doubting herself, and now she's back here again. Okay. The name Ash was... Yeah, the name Ash... be prepared to see that for another 20 chapters of her, like, thinking, oh, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I should change, and then never changing.
Going right back to it when it's necessary for the plot.
Yeah, whatever plot is here. The name Ash was chosen well, as though old woman's features were ashen in color, the eyes in the darkness wicked and without any sort of empathy. Blake looked at the woman. If her father and mother were here, she would know that she had support. Father and mother would know. They had been educated. She did not know how to read and how to write and how...
How to write and to read?
Yeah, she didn't know how to write and to read. It should be she didn't know how to read and to write.
Or write.
That flows better, but anyway. But she'd know that her father would fight for her.
You make the ox see sense, you silly child.
It was pity. I do enjoy doing her voice, though. It was pity in the woman's voice. Pity and a hint of something that she had identified as...
Hate.
I'm sorry. It was pity in the woman's voice. Pity and a hint of something that she had identified as something dark and twisted.
You mean hate?
No, I'm focusing on the grammar of that sentence. It was pity in the woman's voice.
Oh, I
Pity
know
and a hint
what
of
you're
something that she
focusing
had
on.
identified as something.
I'm trying to reason what the hell that sentence was meant to say, and I'm thinking hate. Trying to say that there was hate behind his eyes.
She didn't like to be pitied, but her crotch hurt. But her crotch and her legs hurt. But her crotch hurt. This woman was evil. She just didn't see that the faunus would need to be fought for.
Do you think you have any power? Do you think that you can be an influence?
The woman's voice was lamenting, her fingers giving a little signal to someone behind her, as she felt someone touch her. One of the twin daughters, a rush of something shooting through her system, as if she had something to drink that gave her energy. The semblance of the woman activated once more, bringing with it a dose of that pain shivering as the weights dragged her down.
Why not? They're simple humans, easy to kill for someone with aura. Why do you not fight? You should fight against them, crocodile.
The woman gave a withered smile. She hadn't seen a smile before on the other honest woman's face that seemed to be as kindly as it had been, as the woman looked at the only human in the room. There was something in that gaze, something that showed perhaps something of a deference to the young woman. Like a deference for darkness, for instance. Okay.
Go for a little lie down, sweetheart. I know that it's tiring for you, so just rest up.
The expression of the human woman barely changed, a faint smile playing on her lips. The woman looked exhausted, her twin undoubtedly similar in nature.
But I can still help, Ash. She wants to hurt John.
The crocodile smiled, brushing a hand over the woman's head, patting her softly on the head. A smile that was warmer than anything she'd seen thus far in this situation was on the woman's face. It was a smile you directed to a younger child, the blank-faced woman giving a soft sound in her throat as the pale albino crocodile patted the head. The human sounded a little happy as she was patted.
Little fairies have to sleep too, you know. So just rest up a little. Thank you for letting this little kitten here experience a little rush.
Blake wasn't sure, but one of the identical woman sisters of the master smiled softly before her gaze turned to her. What do you say, Law?
I'm back. I just had to go and record myself kill Mr. House with a 9-iron.
Okay. She didn't like that look much as the woman's fingers reached out to her, and suddenly the world seemed to slow down, the expression a little more victorious as tiredness seemed to wash over the woman.
When Helena gets her hands on you, you're going...
Oh, that's the other lady.
When Helena gets her hands on you, you're going to be sorry, Kitty. John is the kindest. You should have been proud, like the other girl. I'll go talk to John later.
A tired smile as the woman opened a door, light flooding the room and hurting her eyes. Everything seemed to be like slow motion as her whole body ached and writhed. The crocodile seemed to be highly amused with something, her body feeling something rest upon its shoulders. Pain in her groin intensified as she writhed slowly. Everything seemed to burn, her vision watching the leathery skin twitch into a mocking smile.
Such a darling pair of girls. They took it the worst, you know?
Oh, God, I like that voice, but it also kills my throat. The woman said aloud as Blake felt the hand touch her, a spark of something like lightning shooting right through her, as the woman's eyes met hers with an intensity that seemed to bear with it a hatred that was insurmountable. Ooh, big word. She did not understand why the woman would hate her like this.
Why? Why torture me like this? What is your goal?
The questions came out from the semblance's influence, the old woman looking into her eyes with pity, as the hand left her and she felt free. Everything ached and burned. She didn't understand why the woman was telling her these things, or her to know what humans thought.
Once you get to a certain age, my child.
There was a wistful tone in the woman's head. In the woman's head? What?
In the woman's head.
Kitty.
Yes.
Kitty, what is that? Are you even paying attention?
Yes.
Kitty, what does that mean? There was a
after you
wistful
will
tone in the woman's head.
Once you get to a certain age, my child, there was once I don't know, that's stupid.
Voice?
should
There was a
be-
wistful tone in the woman's voice?
There was a wistful tone to the woman's voice.
How do you confuse voice with head?
It's probably that they rewrote it afterwards. Because, like, there was a wistful tone in, and I feel like the, like, cyanide sins went after that in, and wrote a different sentence afterwards, then went to...
Oh yeah, and you forgot to change the word.
He forgot to change the wording and phrasing.
That's usually something you catch whilst you're reviewing your work, but I guess
Well, he doesn't.
I just forgot.
I was gonna say, because like all the other weird errors or whatever, I could understand because it's like as instead of has, like you forget the H, or sad instead of said because you forget the I, but that's head compared to voice. There's not a single letter that's the same between the two. Okay, as she turned her gaze towards one of the walls, Blake didn't follow that gaze, afraid to move. Moving her head made her feel nauseous.
Things stop worrying you. Even when I Even I will have to be fading, like dust in the desert. You, though.
She didn't know what the woman meant with that, the aged features barely shifting. She could feel her heart beat ever faster, the crocodile looking with that smug look on her face, as she felt the woman seize her throat.
You will serve.
There was a certain rawness in the woman's voice, as she felt her throat burn, words that she wanted to say dying on her lips. The eyes bore into her own, red and pitiless, looking down at her as if the woman were one of the four, exalted above all others because she is.
When I am dust, you will be here, taking on my duties. It is an honor to serve the young master of this household, Belladonna.
She did not think it an honor. She wanted to say something, but the woman's eyes simply bored into her own. She felt tiny, as if her body was not her own.
I think you will make a great major domo. Your pedigree is at least purer than that of the deer, though he shows it some favor.
There was a disgusted tone that Blake could empathize with, skittish and frail, not with the predatory instincts of those who were carnivores, those who would barely
Yeah, da 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 da. Cyanide are killing our throats collectively.
Yes?
Those who would barely struggle against I mean, I wouldn't kill my throat if I just read this in my normal voice. I'm trying to make it somewhat entertaining, though. Those who would barely struggle against their fate.
Oh, you wish to say something?
She coughed, feeling her throat's ache cease. As I wish my throat could fucking quit aching. As she watched the crocodile woman take a few steps back, taking a seat. She ached, looking at the woman. She found that she could speak, but that the words she wished to say did not come out.
I have taken away your ability to lie, kitten. It is something that is...
A dry chuckle as the woman looked into her eyes, bloodied red looking to her own golden. The woman's tone was almost bitter as she spoke.
Truthful, is it not?
Blake did not like it.
If the deer wishes to lay claim to the master as a mate, will you kill her?
She had seen the looks that the two sent at each other. There was desire within the two of them, something that was both beautiful as well as terrifying. She felt like he should be hers, yet there was still that desire in her to tear his throat out. He had enslaved her. He had taken her.
Yes.
There was no doubt in that answer. No single hesitation, just a fact.
The other girl we just repurposed. This cannot be allowed. The master will not love a low-born wench. The tiger might make a suitable one, but a mere deer, Arya would not even bat an eyelid at it if I suggested it.
She wondered briefly who Arya was, but was hardly important at this moment in time. The tiger, serving as a lover to the master. The day that happened, she would meow like a kitten and act like some sex pet should. She could not imagine the proud tiger ever bowing her head before a human.
She would never bow before a human. The tiger is stronger than anyone else. She would command us to rise up.
She had heard the impassioned speeches. She had heard the way that the hearts started to beat faster when Sienna had spoken. If the tiger called to war, they would go. It was their duty. It was their right.
Oh, trust me, my child.
A laugh, as pale and mirthless as the woman's features.
If Camilla gets her hands on that woman, she will be begging to be able to be your master's pet.
There was a savagery in those eyes as she was beheld. Oh god, another sentence that kills me. There was a savagery in those eyes as she was beheld by those eyes, red and blood-like, as the crocodile named Ash looked at her.
I would say it would be by far more preferable than what Camilla does to those who resist, girl.
The softness of the features of the woman was like a sweet, yet the softness of the features of the woman was like
Softness of the features of the
of the
woman.
woman was like this is a
softness
comma
of the features of the woman was like sweet yet mocking her.
That
with
doesn't
that
work.
inhumanity of it.
That does not work.
I was gonna say that only makes the sound
that just makes
gay.
it worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. The softness The softness of the woman's features mocked her with the inhumanity of it. There you go. There you go.
The Word document at this point is just killing and choking itself. It's going, no!
Microsoft Word. I put the entire story into Microsoft Word. Microsoft Word just gave up around, like, somewhere around the 20,000 mark. Just gave up. Fucking killed itself.
How many words are there in total?
And it was keep going up, too, before it killed itself, so. She had thought that humans were wicked, but the pale-featured old woman's eyes looked at her with a look that held something akin to madness in them.
Pale-featured?
Like the madness in my eyes as I strangle cyanide scent. It was unfortunate that she had not the control that she has now when she was younger. The woman looked saddened for an instant before the cool look returned, a flash of emotion that Blake didn't expect from the other faunus. I would have liked to take a personal interest, but Lady Azalea forbade it. It is quite a terrifying thing, girl, when Camilla's semblance is at its zenith. I have seen it once, felt it. I am content in my lot in life. The vision I saw was of blood and flame, of the young master consigning our race to oblivion. I did so in that vision, voluntarily. It was my time. There was a bitterness to the woman's smile as Blake saw it, peering right into her own smile. What? There was a bitterness to the woman's smile as Blake saw it, peering right into her. Yeah, okay. You might be wondering why I'm telling you this, child. There was a damning suspicion in her mind as she realized that she felt strange. Do not worry.
It's because I am gay.
Do not worry. Do not fear. You will see the truth of this world soon enough. She looked at the aged features set within a smile. She tried to speak, and a language she did not understand came out. It sounded like the language that her mother spoke, a collection of sounds that did not make sense. What? What? Blake tried to speak, and a language that she did not understand or could speak came out. It sounded like the language that her mother spoke. So is genetic memory a thing now?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Genetic memory. Wait, does this... Kitty?
Yes.
Does this mean the Space Marines eating flesh and getting information actually works?
No.
According to Cyanide, it would. When you see the truth, do not feel fear. You will love him as much as I have loved him, Belladonna. Helena, my dear, do leave us alone for a moment. Drink something refreshing, my dear. I know how much your semblance dehydrates you. A sound from behind her, and she felt a sudden pressure fade as she saw the other twin disappear through the door. The other woman had been within the room the whole time, hiding somehow, a tired feeling going through her body. She saw the woman's lips move, but she could not hear a single word that came from the woman's lips, as she felt so worn out, as if the world just faded out. Oh, what was that about? Oh, I wish... the master... Blake Belladonna would be half-conscious and in agony as rules and etiquette were being explained to her by the old woman. Why would you want to explain the rules to someone when they're half-conscious? Okay. The marks on her back spelling out the word Faunus Queen bled as the wounds opened once more. The truth always came out from Blake Belladonna's lips. Okay, you fucking read now, kitty.
Let's do it.
One Queen bleed? Seriously?
Yeah, it happened like, what, 5 chapters ago now? 6?
Chapter fucking 5, 6.
Oh god.
I know that it happened. It's just that fucking sense.
Is the word... the marks on her backs, there should be a comma there, spelling out the word Faunus Queen, that's 2 words. Bled, comma, as the wounds opened once more. Could be worse. Could be better, could also be worse. Anyways. It is my turn to read. Let me go and get into my position here. Okay.
You read this, kitty. I'm so excited.
He felt the nervousness in his heart as he opened the door to his bedroom again after he had been to tea with his mother and had the evening meal with her. The worrying in her eyes had been something that he had diffused. His sisters were relatively merry, though. Argent was smiling as she usually did, mumbling something about a chemical formula. Camellia looking like she'd rather be elsewhere, whilst Auburn was excitedly telling Artemis about something or the other. He had not paid much attention, as Saffron just seemed to halfway fall asleep, nearly ending up face first in her potatoes if Juniper hadn't been there to catch her head before it had hit the plate. It was different than during the pudding incident. Why tell us about things that don't get explained or brought up ever again?
I don't know. Why talk about a foursome with your daughter right after you fucking explained about shooting her in a vision, shooting her in the fucking head, mercy killer?
Okay, let me move my mic here. Oh, God. She was waiting for him there. Juniper's breathing sounded very loud in the sudden quiet that fell as he swallowed. His mother had not spoken about it, but Blake was somewhere in the house being educated by Ash. That was good and bad. Ash was someone that he trusted. For Faunus, she was the closest thing to an aunt, even with her advanced age, that he had. Camellia...
If that's the good thing, then what's the bad thing? You can't say that was good and bad and then only give us something good. Asshole.
Camellia had gone to her workplace in order to get things prepared. They were hunting the tiger and her horses. Summer Rose was going to come as well. He trusted Summer to do a good job because she was one of the best.
Greetings, Master.
Greetings, Master. Yang had knelt in front of the bed, her horns standing up, the blonde hair cascading down, her gaze lowered. Your slave has awaited your commands. You spoke of requesting this slave's presence this night. Respectful, obedient, and warm. She was all those things and more. Yeah, get up, Yang. She obeyed respectfully, Juniper taking a seat on the chair and pulling her knees up, though her woman was balanced on the innermost, pointing straight.
Alright, that was the sound of me slapping myself in the face to keep myself awake. Jesus Christ.
She was not taking it out to point it at Yang, something that seemed odd to him, but he did not dwell on it. Tonight, He glanced at Juniper, whose disinterested face looked less interested in things as they were usually was the case.
I'm sorry. Read that sentence to me one more time, please.
He glanced at Juniper, whose disinterested face looked less interested in things as they were usually, than usually was the case. Don't you just love it?
Why are we still here? Just to suffer.
Oh my... Oh no. I want us to act as if we're both human, and like we're in love.
I'm not even joking right now. I'm gonna go take a quick shower to fucking rinse this filth off me. Holy shit. I'll be back in a bit. I'll be back.
We're pausing it while we wait for him.
Sure. It's gonna be like 10 or 15 minutes. That's for sure. Okay.
Oh yeah, that's more than fine for us. Okay.
Alright, fuck it.
See you in a bit.
Let's watch Ruby Volume 8 now.
No, we don't have the time for that. Those episodes are way too fucking long for the lack of content that happens in them. Like, my god. My god.
My god.
My god. My god.
So yeah, Kitty, what do you think of the chapter so far?
It's fucking awful.
Would you say is worse than any of the other ones?
The grammar is somehow worse than usual.
Which is funny when you mention it because, well, this is the same chapter he said as he was gonna try and improve his writing.
And he failed.
Utterly and spectacularly.
Yeah?
Which impressive considering our relatively low standards.
Yeah.
Really think about it. Our standards aren't high. Like, we're legit we're very progressive when it comes to trash writing.
Yeah.
But this? Oh boy. Oh fucking boy.
This is quite honestly surprising to me.
I take honest to God just writing errors, like misspellings and some such, than this mangled mess. I don't know about you.
It,
So, Kitty, I have a
no
question
words.
for you.
Yes.
What ship is the best for mining?
Cutter.
I don't have the... Oh, the Imperial Cutter or the Clipper?
The Imperial Cutter.
Okay, because I don't have that one unlocked yet.
After the Cutter, it's, I believe, the Type 9.
Yeah, I'm like 3 ranks away from getting the Cutter.
It's fine. Just buy a Type 9, put mining lasers and shit on it.
Can you use the Beluga or
You
the Orca
can,
for that?
but I would recommend against it because they don't have great cargo space.
Okay, because what I'm trying to do is get the resources that you can use for engineering.
In that case, you'd want a smaller ship. Stick limpets on it. And start
Okay,
landing and shit.
yeah, because like the one I need the most of is phosphorus, and I haven't done anything to like mine phosphorus yet.
Phosphorus, I don't even think you need to mine it. You can go planet side to grab it.
Oh.
Okay, so I should probably just grab like a Python or something like that and just upgrade it up.
Or even a Cobra. Just give it collector limpets.
You just need collector limpets for that?
For if you find stuff out in the field. But you want a SRV bay. You want collector limpets. And yeah, that way you can find stuff. You can bring it up and just have it outfitted for combat otherwise.
Okay.
I'm going under.
Let's see. It's kind of impressive how you can have years of experience writing and just never improve.
It's because he doesn't realize his issues.
He doesn't. And that's what's so impressive, how you can go this far and not realize you have any issues.
He has the tenacity, he just doesn't have the feedback required.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I honestly God, this is the kind of person that should be writing books, but he's spending it on writing fan fiction where people aren't giving him the critique he deserves.
Mm-hmm.
Which is also why I just never publish, because all you get is people wanting more because they have trash taste. They aren't interested in actually helping you improve. And that's the honest to God truth.
Just try to boost engagement on my shit. I'll just ask, hey, comment what you like, what you don't like. Yell at me a little bit. I need some fucking criticism.
Well, you're a fag. That's for one. You gotta change from being a fag.
Cap, stop talking about yourself like that.
It's self-denigration. He's allowed to do it here.
Oh my Johnny.
What powers do the fucking maidens use in Ruby? Like, think about
It's
it.
poorly explained powers. It can do anything because it's being poorly explained.
No, there's like generic elemental powers.
It's a relatively generic elemental powers. It's basically if you've seen Avatar, it's basically that. Like Fallen Maiden can use fire, which she could use for a long ass time apparently. Because keep in mind, in the start of season 1, we see Cinder use the fire to reveal her presence to Roman.
Yeah.
But in Volume 3, we see a flashback where Crow arrives in town, where he rescued the Full Maiden, meaning he went to what's his face, Vale, to hand over the maiden, then fucked off again, and then came back during Volume 3. Knowing that the maiden's probably gonna need protection because Cinder could strike at any moment.
It doesn't make any sense at all.
Hmm?
It doesn't make any sense at all.
Oh no. There's very few things in Ruby that does. But yeah, so basically just generic elemental powers where she can use the power of fire.
Yes.
I'm drinking for a rebreather, goddammit. Oh yeah, Kitty, that's a good question. Are you gonna include the maidens in the story?
Yes and no.
Are they gonna be avatars?
No. The idea that I'm kind of having for them is that they are going to be, for lack of better words, complete fucking freaks of nature. Where it is genetics make you special. Goes from mother to daughter with no ifs, ands, or buts. until they figure out how to transfer auras, at which point now they can put it onto whoever they want. They don't have to bother convincing some girl to have kids, and then convincing the kid to be on their side.
I was gonna say, I assumed that they'd always have at least a girl pass on the gene in that case.
Yep. They can only have girls.
Ooh, that'd be that'd probably fuck with somebody. Yeah, you can't have boys, don't worry.
Yeah, that's why the maidens aren't in the royalty. Except for one country. One country in particular.
And whatever country could that be?
It's a certain country that's ruled by a line of divine women. I love how I'm just rewriting all the countries to be some flavor of...
Fucked.
Not fucked, but politically interesting.
Oh, jeez, no. What is this? What is this?
So, like, Vale's an actual fucking kingdom. Mistral is an empire that spans an entire fucking continent. Atlas is an actual fascist dictatorship. And it's just played straight. The people like that Atlas is run the way it's run. It functions, it works.
Oh yeah, and you're gonna get rid of the whole only Atlas as a military, right?
Oh yeah, they all have militaries. And they
Alright.
have actual wars between states that have been going on for a long time spans. So like Vacuo is a cognate, ruled by a great Khan, who keeps on trying to fucking invade the rest of Sonus, but because the rest of Sonus also has fairly powerful militaries on it, it's just like, no, you can't get anywhere. Get fucked. And to the north of Vacuo, there's a militarist republic, styled after Starship Troopers. Literally everybody has to go through military service for a few years and be trained and have their aura activated. Everybody. So that makes them a powerful fighting force.
I'm just very interested in seeing where you're taking this after the first most boring chapter of this long journey.
Well, I'm going to start getting into the intrigue and the politics of things going on literally in the chapter we're waiting for.
Ooh?
Yeah. Because it's a big piece of discussion between characters, where tidbits of this are given and discussed between the various characters, but they don't go into detail with them.
I mean, don't you get it, Kitty? That happened in Volume 2, where they were playing a chess game.
But instead they're talking about it over sandwiches. Or I guess over dinner. Two of them have sandwiches, one of them has fish and chips, and one has tendies. Fucking tendies.
I'm still just itching to see how you're gonna do Blake's arc. That's gonna be fun.
Well, it starts this chapter.
Okay, I return like the newly washed prodigal son.
Alright, faggot, let's get back to the discussion.
Nice long shower, a glass of chocolate milk. I'm ready to fucking do this. Let's do this. Okay.
Time to beat you.
I have become sleepy. Go to bed.
Gewehr to
Courier,
bed.
after a bit of chocolate milk. Anyway, go on.
We must gewehr to bed. Sturmgewehr to bed.
Sturmgewehr to bed.
Okie dokie. We are now in the land of discussion. No, we aren't. Where did we leave off? Greetings, master. Yang had knelt in front of the bed, her horns standing up, the blonde hair cascading down, her gaze lowered. Your slave has evaded your commands. You spoke of requesting this slave's presence tonight. Respectful, obedient, and warm, she was all of those things and more. Get up, Yang. She obeyed respectfully, Juniper Arc taking... Alright, this... To act as if we're both human and... we're in love. The raised eyebrow of the amused intrigue from his sister was damning, and his eyes returned to Yang. Looking at Yang made him feel better as she smiled at him, seemingly getting the idea. A good human boy and his girlfriend, huh? She was toying with him, he knew. She looked at him, and he felt better, pulled into that positive warmth that she had.
Just like her pussy.
She didn't feel like she was less than him, and she was an animal, and it didn't feel right to call her that. What?
Excuse me?
Hello?
It might seem strange, but he saw her come closer to him, the blonde hair shining in the faint evening light. The fading embers of sunlight colored the windows red from the reflections. It was half opened, letting the warmth of the house escape. In midwinter, the heating was on, yet now in the early start of summer, it was nice and cool in the house. The window must be opened because of the scent he smelled from the incense, the slave having prepared it for him. Whatever the master wishes, the slave will do. She wasn't to talk like that, not now. This was a moment that he would give to himself. A little present, a moment of pretending that he was a girl, or that he was with a girl his age, and that she was free, and there to love him as he wished her to. You're just Yang, just a human girl named Yang, and you're my girlfriend. I love you. It felt so easy to say, it felt so natural, as if he'd always wanted to say it to her. She smiled at him with that sweet smile that made him wish she was human. It wasn't fair.
Each other for less than a week. You both known each other for less than a week. Hey!
They've known each other for less than a week, and yet they want to snuggle. In fact, they struggle with their desire to snuggle.
A literal struggle snuggle, yeah.
It wasn't fair, this lot in life. Why did it have to be so that she had to be a faunus? She looked at his sister Juniper. His sister gave no response, looking away. She didn't respond to it, nor did she voice her displeasure to him. He knew that that others would have given some critique by now. Saffron undoubtedly scandalized. She was a little queer.
I'm sorry, what did that just say?
She was a little queer at times with what with what upset her.
Oh yeah, she's a little queer already.
Yep, she's a little queer.
Yeah, it's getting out of hand. Now there's two of them.
Now there is two.
Now
Gone up the ventilation shafts.
Now there's two queers stuck. Okay then, Mr. Boyfriend. Your big sisters brought the condoms. He felt her poke against his chest, and she smirked at him, a smirk that told of promises and thoughts that she had. Her hand slid down, grabbing a hold of his manhood. She gave it a soft squeeze, letting him feel that pressure and the hands push against it. Let's make love. Let's make love, he said, and her eyes were tender as she spoke. She seemed to understand, to know what he meant without saying it. He literally just said, "Let's fuck. Come on, girl." That was the best part about
But in a sweet,
her.
sensual way. Okay.
That was the best part about her, that way that she shared herself with him. Indeed. Let's make love. My boyfriend better make sure that he's wrapped up. She kissed his cheek, a soft guttural sound coming from... a soft guttural sound from her lips as she
no
did
such
so.
thing as a soft guttural sound.
It'd be like a purr, but...
She's not a cat. She can't do that. Fuck off. She ain't
That,
really going.
that sounds soft.
It could be soft as in quiet.
I don't
Fair
fucking
enough.
kill me.
Look, adjectives are fucking stupid at times. It's English language, man. She was beautiful as her hand continued to move. She
Oh
looked...
shit! Oh.
Just
Okay,
let
sorry.
me read! She looked a little flushed as he felt her pull the zipper down. He looked at Juniper, whose attention was still on them peripherally as Yang's hand pulled his pants down. She smiled and then worked on his upper body, pulling them off. She was beautiful. You just said that! You just said that. Come on. She was beautiful. Her confidence in her actions a pull as her fingers worked the buttons open and exposed him. He did not feel shame as she worked with his clothing like any high-bred attendant should. He stood erect, her maid outfit looking as arousing as it always did. There was a soft scent in the air, natural and with that heady odor of something like one of the forests that he'd been to once. He pulled the maid outfit open, her giggle soft. Master is eager. He put a finger to her lips, shaking his head. Jean. Call me Jean. He would make love to her. She would just be Yang for an evening now, and he would make sure that he enjoyed her as she enjoyed him. Faunus needing a strong leader to make them feel like they belonged. Ash had said that it was one of the cruxes of the society that had sprung up around the Faunus as a whole. She nervously looked at his sister, who hadn't responded yet. He continued to get the maid outfit off, letting her stand there nakedly. Don't add Lee to naked, please. The collar around her throat was the only thing that marked her as a slave, and it was not something that he thought suited her. She deserved to be free, but she was an animal that needed to be kept. It's such a pity. He grabbed her by the hand and led her to the bed, sitting down with her. We could hear birdsong in the distance, feeling a hush fall over him as he looked at her. No, Jean. Her voice was light as she spoke his name, testing it and rolling it around in her mouth. She was nervous for what was to happen, for what they would do. A human should not love a faunus, and the animals should never be let out of their chains, but someone is eager. Her voice was soft, her hand grabbing his manhood and slowly jerking it. Fingers that were warm and delicate wrapped around the shaft, and flesh pulsated below her grip, a soft groan coming from his lips as the touch she gave him. Sinking about me during dinner, Jean. Your girlfriend's hand on your dick, stroking it, touching you. You're not a girlfriend, you're a fucking hooker. From that dialogue. That is not a woman who loves you, that's a woman who's just trying to get you off.
It's asexual.
This comes off as a hooker trying to do loving roleplay.
Forced loving roleplay.
Very, very forced. He moaned, his lips pushing against her hand as she jerked slowly, imagining it already. The hot stave of flesh throbbed under her hand's eager pumps, a low sensual groan coming from his lips at the feeling. She loved to see him like this, to see that cock of his pulsate and throb. Yeah.
He's getting off just at the idea.
Yes, that's what I thought. You smell so good, master. It's like a little hint of something amazing with a dash of cute and heavy dose of wonderful. He blushed a little as she described it like that, and he kissed her. She kissed him back, her naked body still aroused, her eyes looking into his own. She had beautiful eyes, and her hand was still stroking him slowly, heavy pumps with the wrist making a full motion, teasing against his endurance. She was a young woman who he liked. The packaging of the condom slowly tore with the other hand, fingernails deftly pulling the packaging apart with a single hand. And now, does Master want to have his fauna slave suck him a little first? He looked at her with a look that tried to be firm, and she blushed in embarrassment, having forgotten which he desired of her. Do you want me to suck your dick, Jean?
Did you just have a stroke reading?
I fought it off midway through. It's okay. I broke the clot. He shook his head. He was going to come inside of her for the first time. She would be his girlfriend, his wife, his woman, and more. Tonight, just for tonight, because afterwards they would just be faunus and human. Something that could not be.
You know, you can't be both girlfriend and wife at the same time. Those are different levels of relationship.
You can be your wife, girlfriend. Oh, God. Anyways. I want you to share yourself with me, Yang. Show me what a real woman feels like. Her eyes sparkled as she did, her hand pushing the condom down over his dick, slowly rolling it with practiced ease. If only he could have spared her that job servicing others. She was like a flame burning brightly. With pleasure, Jean. With pleasure. She pushed him down, her breasts visibly bouncing once with the sudden swift motion, her eyes looking into his own with that desire curling in them. A slow inhale and slow exhale as she placed body hands on his bare chest. She looked into his eyes and then gave.
Don't you think if people come here for the smut, don't you think that would be like the one part you'd actually like want to put effort into? No. Okay.
Just let me keep going, please. A moan that gave a girl a moan that craved him. Her hips pulling up, her hands tracing over his flesh. Fingernails that had almost the resemblance to the claws that he had once seen on a dog faunus ran over his chest, going down. She rolled her head, her hair moving like a shimmering waterfall, her eyes looking down at him with that look that made things feel so right, like the world had been pushed into that perfect state. She grabbed him, pushing him against her slit. She was wet, he could see it. It was for him. She was wet for him. Heat, warmth, and a clenching tightness wrapped around him as she moaned, the feeling better than Blake. She was there for him as his girlfriend, someone who was there to love him. Mother and father probably felt the same for each other. And to the people who had someone they loved as well, as she slowly slid down, like a glove that was perfectly tailored to his manhood. She slid down, her breasts looking laden with milk. What? She's not pregnant. Oh. A tense look on those features that seemed to twist and writhe. She was not even stopping until her flesh pressed against his balls, and she paused. I love you, master.
Don't look into that statement, by the way, Kitty, because it means nothing.
The words seemed genuine. Her voice had hitched, her eyes looking into his with that intensity. Her pupils changed, something shifting in them, perhaps a trick of the light, as she clenched and tensed. It was for she just jerking him off with her vagina muscles.
Hey, this is the most amazing thing, because on one end I have you reading this, on the other hand I have fucking abracadabra fucking screaming into my ear, so it's just amazing, the dichotomy of the two. It's amazing. I tell you.
She's using her vagina to jerk him off. She's using her vagina muscles to jerk him off.
Amazing, honestly.
Oh my god, it's so stupid. That's not
That
how
woman must do a lot of kegels.
that's not how vaginas work. Oh my god.
I'm jerking you off with my vagina muscles.
Oh god, it
You know
hurts.
those meme images where it's like, you can control every part of your body, but you need to breathe manually? Yeah,
This
that's why.
reminds me of a very, very, very fucking cursed image that I seen Poe fucking post on Twitter. It just reminds me of that.
It's like this guy has the fucking understanding of female anatomy of fucking story time. It's the same thing. Shut up. Shut up. I don't need your singing. It's the same fucking understanding as story time. Lol. Think about it. Perfectly fit to his dick. Her vagina wall's already molded.
No, why did you remind me of him?
It's the same!
He'll make a groove inside of her.
He'll make a groove inside of her. He'll mold her vagina to the shape of his dick.
It's the same level of understanding of biology.
Oh my god.
Then again, he's a creationist, Christian, so it does surprise me that he's a retard.
The words seem genuine, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, she's jerking him off with her vagina. No matter what doom may fall on your path. Her voice was soft, gentler, and caring as she leaned forward, her hands supporting her. His own laid on her back, holding her tightly as if she were about to fall on top of him. Slow motions with her groin, suckling and teasing, almost as if she had a mouth below that needed him. She's just jerking him off with her vagina, making him feel the tension. No matter how many you take as yours, I will not let you fall into the grave without being there with you. Below heaven there shall be none who will take you from me, lest they face my claws. Human, fondness, slave, or freed, none. Her eyes seemed to leak
You
tears
will be mine.
as she looked at him. How I wish to be yours, Master Jean. The thread, there's a thread around my fingers tied to yours. Without you, A soft sigh as tears dripped down his chest. He felt the heavy emotions as she looked into his own?
Interesting.
Interesting phrasing. Is she looking into his chest? Has she torn his chest open? Okay.
Just torn the chest open, just staring at his heartbeat.
Well, you see, the ancient Egyptians did believe the fucking emotions came from the heart, so, I mean, she's staring into his emotions in his heart.
Honestly, this is a common thing for cultures, so.
She's literally staring into his heart, though. She ripped his chest.
And I despair. Without you, I shall not live, as she says as she's torn open his chest. There was something in those eyes, some deep darkness that was like the heavens bore down on him, a pressure that he could not deny. It was a softness that seemed to wrap around him as her eyes never left his. Words that Ash had spoken once during the story that she'd told him over the course of a year. One of the earlier tales of the Faunus as a people came to his mouth. Even if our day of birth was not the same and our life has taken different courses, may we die on the same day. Oh, yeah.
Ah, yes, Romeo and Juliet, how romantic. One of the least romantic stories ever. Ah, yes, I love you, Juliet. That's why I want you to kill us both at the same time. Because that's not gonna be super fucked up or anything. And then they're gonna name laws after us. Ah, yes, how romantic.
Her smile was like the sunrise, her tears leaked, and her eyes looked into his own. Oh, at least she's not looking into his open chest. There was something in those eyes, something powerful and mysterious, a hint of something more, yet of something simple. Her lips pressed against his own in a kiss and she tensed, moving her lower body up, a tensing of her.
Something
she's
more,
just-
but something simple.
Look, she's just jerking him off with her vagina. She's just using her vagina muscles to jerk him off. May I be struck by lightning the moment that I turn my back to you. The words were softly uttered as she looked at him, her tears starting to pool onto his chest. He was emotional as well, looking at her. Her hand had found hers, and he'd grabbed her.
Her hand had found his. Or his hand had found hers.
Her hand had found his. No, wait. His hand had found hers, and he'd clasped it. Fingers tangling together, palms facing one another. Oh my god. So many minor issues that would just be solved by removing things and changing one letter.
Insane.
I love you. His voice uttered a breathy gasp. Her lips twitching a little into that broad and eager smile. She whispered something, a language that could be Old Australian with how it sounded, as she kissed his lips. A spark of something seemed to shoot through him as the sensuality of the kiss increased, a low rumble coming through his body. It was a kiss that lasted, his cock giving a languid throb as she seemed to have forgotten what she was doing, just staring into his eyes. It was beauty that he could see within her. Give me a kiss, master. There was a low rumble as she looked down at him, a vibrating trill that seemed to shiver through the words, his slave's eyes bearing down on him. He was pretending that she was a human, but it was natural. He grabbed her tightly and rolled on top of her, looking down at her. A playfulness was in her eyes as she smiled, her tongue licking over her lips slowly. My, that isn't a... He thrust and her eyes went wide, his eyes looking into hers. She was below him, a slave that he owned, yet it felt not like that. You're my human for now, Yang. Her eyes looked surprised as he pressed a finger to her lips, pushing himself up. That means you're free to be as you really are. I will make sure nobody punishes you for what you do, right, Juniper? Meanwhile, she's in the corner just slicking herself.
Oh no, her sister was falling asleep.
His older sister seemed to startle a little, her eyes having half dropped shut. Yang's tightness increased for an instant, almost squeezing him painfully as his older sister gazed at him, as if trying to remember where she'd left it off. Oh, yeah, no punishment, sure. Based Juniper, not giving a single shit. Well, these people are fucking, I don't care. Let me catch some rest.
I wouldn't be either. I'd want some fucking sleep.
Sleep.
Yeah, I'd probably be falling asleep too, to be honest. He worried a little about her. She was getting sleepy already, which might mean that there was something wrong with her system again. It might have... Again? It might have been just a few stressful days, but he couldn't help but be concerned. Jean! Yang's hands lightly brushed over his sides, feeling the skin, her heavy gaze laden with the emotions that she felt. Okay, it's all about her fucking emotions again and her being low class. Let's continue. Jean felt her tight, and she's jerking him off with her vagina again. If Black ever tries to hurt you, I will hurt her. Classic yandere shit. His gaze didn't show understanding. He doesn't get it. And more kissing as they fuck.
Read it!
It was different from Blake, who could be fucked without the condom in the way. But this was good too. His balls smacked against her against her soft skin as her hands continue to stroke through his hair. You would be a good girl for me, Yang. What? She gave a minute nod. Her eyes looked at him, and for the moment that he locked gazes with her, he saw her as she was, a girl his age, one that held feelings for him, one who was now with him in bed under the watch of one of his sisters, speaking of protecting him and living with him. They've known each other for a week.
Less than a week.
I don't think. The vision came back to him. He had exterminated every last faunus, all for her. They had hurt him and his family, but it had been for her. His heart throbbed and with pain as he imagined her dead. He did not want that. She was his.
How long is this chapter?
I don't know.
Very.
The world hurts.
Are we done soon?
Hold on, I'll load up a Microsoft Word document.
Okay.
Hold on.
We are 2/3 of the way through.
Hold on,
Oh,
hold on. I want to see how many words we have left. Hold on.
Thank the Lord.
Why do you think I'm just skipping the pointless excess detail?
We have 6,000 words left.
Skipping shit?
I am.
Skipping a lot of shit, yeah.
I have been skipping entire paragraphs where it's just saying the same thing that the last paragraph said, and the paragraph before that, and the paragraph before that, and the paragraph before that.
Kitty, I might not express it often, but fucking thank you. Thank you for that small mercy, because even with you cutting shit
Creator's
out...
been complaining! He's like, read it all! No!
I want him to read the cringy shit.
Look, if I'm reading the same thing of like, oh, her vagina is just jerking him off again, okay, I will just say, her vagina is jerking him off again, next.
Again, I'd rather that than we keep repeating the same thing, because at least this way, we aren't making Cyanide out to be the fucking devil.
I mean, he is.
She would be
He's
no...
really...
Look, he's based, it's okay.
He's based.
She would be nobody else's even if she was an animal. His lips smacked against hers as she... Okay, they're kissing and moaning.
Oh, how
To
romantic.
read that, you have to read the shitty context of that. Come on.
As he cried out, a passionate guttural sound that was like an angry beast declaring that it hogged its mate. It's so stupid. Oh my god.
Can you tell the Cyanide has never gotten laid?
Yes.
My friends, I have been crying throughout all of this because it hurts. I'm not even kidding. I am not even kidding. I have been wiping away tears the whole time because this hurts. A deep, shuddering, and primal shock. Okay, she comes.
As she comes to a great... She comes.
She comes, it describes her tits. She arches her
Bites on
back.
her fucking tits. Like, that feels good.
His head
Yeah,
leaned
women
down
have to
and he
go
seized
meet
one of them
good.
between his teeth, biting them slowly into the
And sensually.
He looked into her eyes and felt power.
No one man should have all that power.
The clock's ticking, I just count the hours. Can't stop tripping, I tripping off the power. Wrong part. That's the this is the chorus, that's the intro. She
Forgot
desired him. Her hot depths... She's jerking off his dick with her vagina muscles. Something
Again.
inside him dismissed her blood and spices. Her blood and... Her blood and species.
At spices with blood on it, with like...
She dismissed the blood and species, and she...
Blood and
just
speed.
took. She was a faunus, yes, but she was here. He was inside of her. Master!
Master!
He stops biting her nipple.
Thank you.
It gets worse. He stops biting her nipple and goes to bite her neck.
Hard enough to draw a lot of blood. Yeah.
She stiffened, a guttural sound coming from her throat. He could hear Juniper startle as he bit down harder, drawing blood. Coppery taste hit his tongue as he licked over his fauna slave's skin.
So John has just turned.
Okay.
A guttural sound is her probably suppressing a fucking really loud scream.
A scream of terror.
Fucking Christ, that hurts.
I just love the fact that John's just casually biting her neck.
What the fuck is this guy, a vampire?
Oh, it's romantic. He lost himself in the moment. Oh.
No, this is not how that happens.
It would be pretty fucking funny if his sister was like, "Mom, get the steak. He's becoming a vampire again."
Again.
Get the garlic.
It's a thing that happens on and off, you know.
Mom, John became a vampire again, and he's biting down on a slave this time. Oh, good. At least he's taking care of the trash this time.
You're mine, Yang. How he's saying that with his mouth around her throat is beyond me.
Literally tearing into her flesh.
She was his, and she would remain his if his mother demanded her death. Ooh, well. Mother could not, for all he cared. He pulled out of her, his hand grabbing her neck and looking down at her. The power that he held over her life and death, the power that he had, all mattered not as she looked at him with her eyes. Okay, both eyes. A deep crimson color that seemed to make her look human and inhuman at the same time. A look that was so human, a look that belonged to that which was
human
deemed
look
an
that
animal.
was human.
Read this next sentence, Kitty. Read it, you beautiful motherfucker.
His voice held desire.
I'm gonna fuck you, Yang.
His voice held desire, a craving, his manhood pulling out and he grabbed it. He already pulled his dick out.
He pulled it out twice, okay? Just to prove a point.
He pulled it out, put it back in, and then did it again just to prove a point. Pulling out and he grabbed it. The wetness on the condom was not lubrication. It was all because of her wetness, her need. You're the girl I have for the night and for the rest of your life.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Kitty later on. Oh my god. Oh my god.
He could hear Juniper mumble something in the background as he thrust himself into her, the clap of his hips against Yang's. No! As he let her breath. As he let her breath. The gasp of her taking another breath was like an aphrodisiac, a shiver going through her. Whose
Her
girl?
or him, where it's from his perspective.
Whose girl are you, Yang? A groan, something that was almost serpentine in nature, as he could hear Juniper stir, something that was primal and inhuman coming from her lips. A hissed, "Yours!" coming from her lips as he took what was his. His orgasm was like a blazing rope of flame wrapping around his nethers.
Rope of flame.
I'm pretty sure that's just the gonorrhea, bro. I'm sorry. That's just the gonorrhea. The heat wrapping around him like a burning noose.
A burning noose?
His body tensing as he drove himself into her, biting deep into her neck. Her body writhing below him as she acted like the animal she was, the one who he loved, the one who was his woman for the night, who would... Okay.
How many times are we gonna repeat this?
Her legs... Were they not already parted?
Now, she had her legs clenched this entire time. That's why it was biting down. It was like, hey, what the fuck, woman?
Her legs parted, her mouth making a soft sounds. Her breathing heavy, skin slick with her sweat, the burning heat of her body below him comfortable as he laid atop her, pulling out of her. Nigga, figure out whether you want to be in or whether you want to be out.
Listen, he can't decide, okay? Don't rush him.
He flicked the condom to the side, a splat audible to his ears. He didn't really care much for that, as he looked at her breasts slick with sweat, grabbing them and then smacking them together. She quivered. Who is my little fondest slave? Wasn't this supposed to be loving couple roleplay?
This was supposed to be loving couple roleplay, which is turned into a bad parody of BDSM.
On the, you know what? On the positive side, I know where
way.
that line in the frontier came from now.
Mm.
Do you want to be my little slave girl? Who is my little fondest slave?
Oh my god. The Frontier devs probably read this.
Read this?
It was arousing to see her like this, those heavy-lidded eyes almost crimson in their sheen as she exhaled, hot breath gushing over his face. She grabbed the condoms and tore another package open, looking at him with eyes laden with emotion. Craving, desire, lust. Me! Power rolled from her voice as she pushed the condom over his manhood, firmly gripping the shaft at the base.
Again?
And I am yours. He thrust into her and then growled, they're fucking again. Balls deep, slapping against her thighs, all that shit. I'm not reading it again.
And then at some point he just changes to face fucking her, which is
Excuse me.
real romantic.
Face fucking in a sensual. Excuse me?
He comes again, plopping into the condom.
Plopping into the condom? Is that used?
Thick
That's-
globs.
Thick globs pump into the condom. Glopping noise as 2 years worth of semen pumped into Asuna.
Also, like I said, this was real face, like, holding on to your fucking girlfriend's ears and face fucking the shit out of her is real romantic. I can't think of anything more romantic than that.
The first one had been filled with his slimy ejaculate collecting at the reservoir. Now this was the next one. He disentangled himself from her, flicking it to the side. There would be someone who would clean it up. Her lips wrapped around the head, his hands on her horns. She would clean him up because she was his. He's just going to angrily face fuck this girl, and she's going to enjoy it.
I mean, what else? I can't think of any other.
Juniper is
Probably
now
done.
watching attentively for some reason as he is violently face fucking her.
Like violently face fucking her, yeah.
He tells himself that she's a human again for some reason, and then he gets hard again while in her mouth.
Excuse me? Was he pushing limp rope into her mouth?
Yes. Quote, he was hard after a minute. He face fucks her for a minute and then gets hard again.
Excuse me?
Yang's lips wrapping tightly around the thick, turgid shaft. Her throat making slurping and suckling noises. Okay, no, his dick would have to be pretty big to get to her throat. I'm
I was
sorry.
gonna say, he is pushing a limp rope, right? And he's pushing to the back of her fucking throat. Either this woman is an alien, or John has a dick so big he'd rival a Saneshi chosen one.
He's got a horse cock.
I don't know.
Can you imagine how that conversation would fucking go in, like, the warp or whatever? Like, Slanesh is just at her fucking nightly orgy or whatever, and somebody just bursts in and he's like, "We have found the chosen one!"
we found the chosen one, Lady Slanesh. Huh? Who is it? It's this guy who just fucks cat girls. Really? Tell me why. Tell me why. Well, he's got a 12-inch dick. Find him, bring him to me. I will service him personally. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo.
And finally, a worthy challenger. This a battle shall be legendary.
Finally. Slanesh just turns around and is like, finally, somebody with a dick that's naturally big. I found them. A boyfriend.
Slanesh the moment Slanesh finds a worthy boyfriend, she just disappears.
She just goes mellow. 100 years of peace as this guy just fucks Slanesh.
Just to the back of her throat with limp rope, like, Jesus, nigga, how big is your goddamn dick? Do you have a little horse cock, or is that...
Her eyes go red again. She's very eager for sucking his dick. She could somehow speak with his dick in her mouth.
Yeah.
Her voice was thick, but it's probably because of the dick in her mouth.
Kitty,
lol. He never pulls his dick out, but he starts quizzing her on how good it was. I'm not even kidding. It goes from he was hard after a minute. He's face fucking her. She says master. Her voice was thick with something blah blah blah. He did not look away from that vision of the of loveliness. How did I do, Yang? Did it feel good? A question. His dick is still in her fucking throat. A question that he should have asked after the first time, but the question hadn't been on his mind. It had felt good. He doubted for a moment whether he had been good. The glow on Yang's features warmer as she smiled with his dick in her mouth. Roar!
It's a dick in a box.
His sister's voice came from behind him. It sounded threatening, as if she was angry with him. He remembered a detail that he'd forgotten in his desire for Yang's body. Wait, wasn't that... He turned his head to find Juniper giving him an annoyed, what amounted to a pointed glare, her lips terribly tense. Between two fingers she held a condom, another resting on her cleavage. Already half emptied into her cleavage.
Excuse me?
He yeeted the condoms onto his sister.
Yeah.
He yeeted them onto his sister.
Yeah.
I'd like to remind you guys that Curia read this ironically and recommended it to me.
Because it was fucking insane. It was just the worst.
He yeeted a condom onto his sister, not once but twice.
It was just fucking insane. Wow, you can't disagree that this isn't insane.
This is so stupid.
Like, this is ironically a feral comic at this point.
Yes, that's why I recommend it to you. You.
Please
Like,
Shut up, let me read. Please do allow me a moment to go and wash up. I was perhaps not fully awake, but feeling a condom hit me in the face was not a pleasant way to wake me up.
This is dialogue that was written.
She got up from her seat and he felt embarrassment go through him. That hadn't been the intention from the get-go. He tossed the condoms aside but never intended to hit her. I'm sorry?
You should check her aim there, Chief.
How do you... How?
Jean, you idiot. She'll empty them into herself at this rate.
Oh boy, we aren't there yet, luckily, but good God, Kitty.
No, that's 30 chapters from now, okay? No, 40 chapters from now, so...
Oh boy, see you in 40 weeks.
She fixed him with a look again, her lips pressed together tightly. That was not a great look on his older sister's face, because it showed that she was little more than just pissed off. Mom looked like that too. She sighed, looking at him for a moment and shaking his head.
So are you saying you've splattered your cum?
I was gonna say, so your mom's making the same face as your sister is after getting a cum like getting just a condom full of cum splattered on her face. Okay,
Twice.
then.
Twice.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh god, oh god, oh god.
Twice.
You're lucky you've got a cute bum, John. Really lucky. I'd kick it so badly you'd look like one of those fat bastards that try to get Saffron's hand in marriage. Oof, that's close. Also, his
Oof,
dick is
that's-
still down Yang's throat.
So while she's scolding him, oh, that's a fucking Deathclaw. No.
While he's skull fucking Yang. He's just casually chatting with his sister, who he yeeted condoms onto. Juniper loved him, but she could be a bit strict. Not like Ash, but... His sister went for the door to the outside. She looked at him and then fixed Yang with a look of strict attentiveness. A good pet she was, as Yang obeyed, her body language shifting. Remember what I said, Faunus. I need to get this stuff off of me. Yang smirked, nodding at his older sister. Her hands brushed...
taking the dick out of her mouth.
Her hands brushed over his hips, and he watched the door close behind Juniper. They were alone now. Master... Wait. Her voice was soft as her fingers stroked his manhood gently. They reach into her mouth, stroking it gently, caressing
It's the author forgot to write a sentence of.
and I'm going to run with it.
Okay.
Caressing the veins on his flesh, her breathing loud. Yeah, I imagine it would be when you have a dick in your mouth within the sudden silence.
It depends on whether you're trying to breathe or not.
He could see in the shadows her face, her eyes burning a little. You are perfect. Wait.
You are perfect.
He knew that it was wrong to feel like this because a faunus should not be loved, but she felt perfect. She was someone who seemed to be the missing piece, something that seemed to just fit no matter how irregular her shape was. Was it good, Yang?
No.
His voice asked again, the aggression slowly fading from him as the hive getting to come inside of her, even if it was only just in a condom, slowly settled down. Doubt flashed through him as she looked...
You okay?
I feel a sudden tickle in my throat.
Oh no. It's so long it
Kitty,
went down yours.
do you secretly want to fuck Sean and get through a fuck bunch?
No! No, I need alcohol. Oh!
Kitty's down in that fucking whiskey like a dying man down some water in the fucking Sahara.
I've never heard dying man getting water in this area just to be so desperate as Kitty is to fuck John right now.
Don't question my thirst, damn it.
Oh,
I will
thirst
question
for
your
something,
thirst.
alright.
Especially when your first results in you wanting to fuck John of all people.
Doubt flashed through him as she looked up to him, a teasing hint on her lips. She smiled, her head bumping against his stomach. She sucks his dick. It was a light touch as she winked at him. Her fingers grabbed his balls and gave him a soft squeeze. It didn't hurt, but he remembered. Yeah, that's a fucking lie.
It didn't hurt.
I was gonna say, even a soft squeeze to your balls fucking hurts. So.
Yes. But he
Yeah,
remembered
you know how-
what she had done. She wouldn't hurt him. Her eyes looked up at him, something in them burning with a passion that he could see within them. There was something in those eyes, distaste or dislike, perhaps the thought of something more.
I'm pretty sure she's just begging you to pull out because she's fucking choking to death.
As her
Really,
lips
Yang?
pressed to
I
his
didn't know
stomach, kissing it gently. Her voice was soft with the angry curl of rage in its steps. Her eyes looked at him, his hand patting her head. It was a soft touch as she smiled, looking at him. Here they were, master and faunus slave, but it was like a thing that should not be, since the rights of the faunus had been abolished. The look in her eyes,
Are we still
speaking
talking
of
even with
intelligence
deep on a fucking throat?
that would befit any major domo.
Good point, Yang.
He wanted her. He didn't need twins. She looked at him, a grin on her face, bolder and brighter than like a lit bonfire.
Don't do it, please. Don't do it. You're gonna kill your throat.
Another kiss to his stomach as she leaned down and her lips wrapped around the head of his manhood. Okay, she finally pulled off a little bit, giving a soft suckle as her tongue touched along the urethra.
That urethra.
A deep sniff of the heady scent of his groin before she released the cock with a loud sound. Finally, she brought her mouth off of his dick. It is how it should be.
She did it, ladies and gentlemen.
A master for his slaves. My master, I, his faunus. She was more than just a faunus, as she suckled along the tip of his cock once more. He merely gazed at her, pushing her head away. I will make sure that you and Blake are treated well with those
Meanwhile,
twins.
Blake's literally on a
well.
medieval torture device, but okay.
You can do what you wish with them. A smirk, vicious and cruel, came to her lips. He still tasted the blood on his lips, noticing the mark on her neck had seemed to have healed up already. Must be something like a funnest trait or something. Sometimes they can regrow their trait. He wasn't a
xenobiologist.
He wasn't a xenobiologist. He didn't know much, but what he knew was she was his. Okay, Courier, you take the last part.
No, I'm not doing that last paragraph.
Yes, you are. Yes,
No,
you
I'm not.
are. I had to read all of that. You have to do this.
No, I ain't.
Yes, you are.
Come
Yes.
on, you angry lovers. Just get over each other.
Yes, you
Fuck
is.
already.
Yes, you is. You is doing it. Yeah, boy, you is.
I ain't.
Yes, you is.
Fine, I'll do it in the most robotic fucking tone of voice possible, because you may make me read it. You can't fucking make me tell me how to read it, okay? Fuck you.
I can. Read it
No.
with love, okay? It's the last stretch.
No.
Look,
His
man,
hips
I had
slammed
to
against-
read her being face fucked while trying to talk for some reason.
Oh yeah, by the way, next little part of the story, he's face fucking her again. So anyway, his hips slammed against Yang's face as he fucked her mouth. Her body laid on the bed, his balls smacking against her chin, his erect cock driving into her mouth as if it were something else. It was warm out and sucking him in his Her eyes closed as she enjoyed that feeling. He came, her mouth never leaving his shaft. Her tongue slid over the sensitive head, sliding up and down. Her eyes looking at him with a trusting look. He slowly pulled out of her mouth, not even giving a single damn about whether he was making a mess. Drool and seed dripping down onto her neck. She looked delighted, her breathing heavy. The door opened and he could hear Juniper's amused laugh. He didn't know how long it had been. A quick glance at the clock showing that it had been nearly 2 hours since he first entered the bedroom. Yang smiled at him, her hands on his wrist.
You've been going for 2 fucking hours?
He's been skull fucking her for 2 hours.
Jesus!
This man has the stamina of a god.
You know sex takes like 20 seconds, right?
His sister's voice came from behind him,
No
her
comment,
hand
lol.
laid on his
No
shoulder
comment.
for some support. She smelled like shampoo, as if she'd just had a shower. I hope she had a fucking shower. He felt the warmth of his sister's hand on his back. She sounded more amused than he felt, though he knew there should be more shame in him having for an audience. She's my pet, Junie. He looked into the Yanks and she smiled at him. There was beauty with this spot. He's Let's see how many times I can do that. It's good breathing exercise. His hand caressed her cheek, letting her know that she had his favor. I should always enjoy her. The brush of her lips and an audible came from his phonus. His eyes,
An audible
as he felt Yang's lips slide over that head. Juniper's hand left his shoulder as she sat herself down behind him. Don't go tossing any condoms at me again, John. Whilst I am I'm not having them land in my face. Okay.
She literally has to go sit down with John and explain. I don't appreciate getting condoms thrown onto my face, bro.
Except she sounded more amused than angry.
Look, she
His
wanted
head
them.
turning
She
regarding her.
wanted them thrown inside of her, not onto her. Okay.
How dare you waste all that good cum?
Also, this. Don't go. Okay, I'm gonna read this entire thing. And you don't shut up until I get done with this. I'll tell you when to go. Don't go tossing any John-dums at.
John-dums.
Don't go.
Don't go throwing any condoms at me.
Condoms. Don't go tossing any condoms at me again, John. Whilst I am happy that you're using them, I am not fond of having them land on my face. She sounded more amused than angry, his head turning, regarding her. A towel was covering her head, and she slipped into something a little more casual for the occasion. One of the fluffy house coats that Saffron usually enjoyed wearing when she was being occupied with personal matters, which generally turned out to be passed out on a couch after having lengthy discussions and enjoying the presence of her pet. John's response to fucking his sister.
Fucking his sister.
No. John's response to fucking Juniper telling him not to throw condoms. John's response is just pudding, right?
Just pudding?
As in he's joking. He's like, the cum you got on you. Just pretend it's pudding, right?
Oh.
She snorted. That had
Excuse
been the
me.
last time when she'd eaten pudding, when Saffron had just dumped the plate all over Juniper's head. It wasn't remarked on by anyone, but he only heard the fallout, something about a dress.
This family's fucked.
And
Like,
they're
beyond
fucking.
help. Career?
Yeah.
During that entire sex scene, I've killed 7 death claws, and we're still fucking going.
What the fuck are you killing them with?
A sniper rifle with AP rounds.
Nice. Blah blah blah. Fucking Juniper telling him to shut up. Blah blah blah. Fucking his Yang is still sucking his dick while he's casually having a conversation with his sister. He must have come like 8 times by now. Fucking whatever. Him talking about Cinder, don't wanting to fucking get married to her. She's like, oh yeah, you had to get married to Lady Rose, and he's like, yeah, and she was a good Grim killer and could kill Faunus and do combat shit. And he came again into Yang's mouth once again. I don't know how he's still coming. He's came like 9 times now. Blah 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 blah. How was that, Master? He patted her head. He's like, "You're great. You're your girlfriend. Fucking blah blah blah. You're my master." Fucking dingle dong dangle ding.
Ding dong dangle ding.
Dingle dong dangle ding. You are my master. There was a simple truth in those words. A simple word that cultivated the difference between the two of them, master and slave. She was below him always. A woman, for she was no girl whose collar would be, or for whose collar would forever be owned by someone. Juniper, he called out to his sister, hearing her sigh deeply. Yes, John, the plaintive voice that his sister used, was her showing him at least some respect, though she sounded as if she couldn't be bothered to answer a silly question. Come here. The next sigh was explosive as she did so. Sitting down on the bed next to him with how Yang was still laid on the bed, it was a little awkward to do, but he got off. The smell of sex and his own ejaculate hung in the air like a heady perfume.
Jesus Christ! Have some self-respect. Goddamn animals.
As he grabbed Yang's horns and moved her head, she obeyed as dutiful as she had. Do you think they are much different from us, Juniper? It was a question that would never really be asked because they had lost their right to be counted as human, an animal that would never rise to the station of a human, toys for their human overlords if pretty or workers if unsuited.
We get it, they're slaves.
I don't care. Yang's expression did not change from that look. Soft eyes looking at him with a look. It said it was a set of eyes that belonged to him and that looked at him with a powerful emotion welling up inside him. He waited for Juniper's response. It remained absent. Frown appearing on her face with the sudden question. They may look human, but they are not. They will corrupt you into thinking that they are the same before they hurt you. They hurt Camilla. He remembered that imprint from Camilla's memories, his hands touching Yang's face. He can't believe that Yang would ever do such a thing. She's a good Faunus. His voice was soft as those eyes seemed to moisten, his eyes looking into her own. If they could be... I'm literally just skipping entire sentences now because it's just repeating the same fucking...
Oh, you're doing exactly what Kitty did. You piece of shit.
Well, because I wasn't reading something. This is just garbage. This isn't embarrassing garbage. This is just garbage. He hear the faint tolling of bells, the cry of some birds joining after him.
Boom, the bell tolls.
Time marches on. Boom, the bell tolls.
If they could be taught, he hoped it was wrong. It was wrong to feel. It felt wrong to lock such a beauty with a collar. Blah blah blah. She's an animal. I want her to be human, but she's an animal. But I want her to be human. But she's an animal. But I want her to be human. But she's an animal. But I want her to be human. Please don't hurt mother like that, John. Loving a faunus. I am not loving an animal juniper. Blah blah blah. Blah 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 blah. Jean, she's your pet. They're there for your enjoyment. They can't be a lover. She tried to explain, but it didn't matter to him. Blah 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 blah. He cares. Needs to instruct the mindless animals, as Ash told him. Aberrations to the faunus bloodline must die or something. His line is strong. He's worth 1 million of these low-bred bitches, according to Ash.
Blah, blah, blah. Destroy the Jews, blah, blah, blah.
Blah, 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 blah. Fucking regarding some other faunus in his past he saw be, like, brutally tortured in front of him, blah, 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 blah. Fucking, she had bat wings and he cut him off or something, I don't fucking know. Blah, 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 blah. Auburn smiled after fucking torturing the faunus because she's a psychopath and secretly possessed by Mommy Salami. Spoiler, who cares? Blah 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 blah. Shook himself out of his memories. He's like, "She's mine, Juniper," he said with conviction as he looked at Yang's features. "Nobody will take her from me. It may just be faunus. It may just be love." Yang's like, "Whatever the master desires, the slave shall be." Then he's like, "Put another condom on me, Yang," and then he starts fucking her again, and Juniper's like, "Disgusting," and then they're fucking, and then they kiss, and they're fucking some more, and then they fuck some more, and they fuck some more, and
Jesus Christ, how long can this dude go?
The heavy smell of sex in the air, and then he fucked her again. And then we fucking... Jesus Christ. She laid atop him, sleeping gently. He had petered out after the 9th orgasm.
9.
9th orgasm?
As a guy. 9 orgasms.
Literal sex god, apparently.
Hold on, I'm looking up what the I don't care. I care so little. I'm looking up what the refraction period is.
It's like 5 minutes.
15. 15 is your recharge period.
Is it 15?
It's actually 15 minutes between orgasms for men.
Is it 15? So he had 9, so they fucked for, hold on, let me bring up my calculator here.
They fucked up 2 hours and 15 minutes.
2 hours and 15 minutes, apparently, yeah.
Here's the problem, though. You get diminishing returns after, like, the 3rd.
Yep.
Yeah, and also that isn't accounting for the fucking long-ass time in between him coming, so, instead
and
of...
actually stimulating her.
And stimulating her. So instead of 15, let's say 25 minutes, he fucks her for 10 minutes, then has to wait 15 for refractory period or whatever, because he's a sex god. So he fucked her for, that's 3 hours. That's 3 hours and 45 minutes. That's most of the night. Knowing that his stamina was not like a huntsman. Oh, so can huntsmen just come indefinitely? Okay, cool. He desired to be one, but his family had said that it was too important, this union with the Fall family, to become a huntsman. He felt good for having made sure that she was sated. His sister was fucking sleeping, her robe having come undone somewhat, so he could fucking see her breasts or something, I don't know. Fucked her some more. Or whatever. He made love. It could have been called rape if she had not been so eager.
Skin on skin. Made rape begin.
This whole sentence right here. I'll read these two sentences because it's fucking retarded. It could have been called rape if she had not been so eager. He had forced himself into her, her eyes alight with something, red and purple, and a flame lit in them. His hips feeling bruised as he shivered and shuddered like she was possessed by that dark. His hips feeling bruised as she shivered and shuddered like she was possessed by that dark desire. A low guttural sound in her throat. Nothing stopping her from feeling those pleasant warm sensations, and he had came, feeling the liquid flame shoot through his manhood. If you coming feels like fucking you shooting flame out of your fucking dick, go see a doctor.
No, that's actually natural. That's a thing called, that's basically you just doing it too much at the same, like right after nut, as your body's telling you to stop.
Yeah, if you do it that much and your dick feels like it's on fire,
Especially either after coming or pissing, if it's feels like it's on fire, that's your body telling you to stop.
That's just either that or it's gonorrhea. One of the two.
She was actually. Hold on, I want to see how many fucking times this exact phrase "she was his" comes up. Hold on. Fucking like 11 times. Fantastic. Okay. And it's probably all within the last fucking whatever. Nobody could deny that it was with a condom, but he came inside her, given her what she wanted or whatever, fucking expressed, blah blah blah. She was a slave. She was a pet, a collared faunus whose life worth could be measured in lien. She was Yang, a blonde faunus whose breasts were round and full, and whose eyes held the light of something that burned with a passion in them. He opened the door to the adjacent bathroom, feeling the urge to relieve himself. It wouldn't do to make a mess in the bed. Well, fucking ain't that considerate of you, asshole. He still had to sleep in there, after all, in the bed covered with cum and girl juices. Yeah, fucking sanitary. He could hear someone moving in the room that he left. What?
What's AIDS in this universe, apparently?
Yeah, he could hear someone moving in the room that he'd left, undoubtedly Juniper, getting awake because he moved around. She was such a good sister, and Yang was such a good faunus. Something seemed to shift in the other room, a dull thud coming from that side as if something had fallen down, perhaps Juniper's chair, a light swishing of something moving, as he could hear a light tread come towards the door with the carpet dampening the footfalls. That sounds like Juniper. The door opened, and his aim didn't shift in the slightest as he relieved himself. He could smell the blood of. He could smell the smell of blood and Yang, something that he thought of as odd, even as he shook his manhood a little to get the last dregs of urine out. Perfume, something that was womanly and more like his mother's, mingled with the scent of blood. He found it a little queer that Juniper had worn a perfume, but there were odder thoughts than that. Some people wore faunus fur, for instance. He could sense her behind him, smiling to himself as he hardened, knowing that Yang undoubtedly had noticed that he'd moved from the bed. He turned around, smile on his face broad and eager, meeting steel-like crimson eyes, a matured face, and features that definitely were like Yang's, but older. The raven feathers that emerged from between the mane-like hair only accentuated the woman's exotic looks. The blood-stained Mistralian kimono that she wore giving her a sort of distinguished look, as he could see a set of thigh highs that went up to the skirt that she wore, but the raven feathers marked her true for who she was. Lips that were set within a manner that boded ill, his eyes catching the sight of the features that had been on wanted posters for nearly 15 years. The bounty had increased by the years, to such a height that someone would be able to buy a mansion with the reward money for bringing her to justice. Raven the Nevermore, one of the most wanted rogue
Raven the Nevermore! Oh, this is so bad.
Raven the Nevermore, one of the most wanted rogue faunus huntresses, stared back at him with eyes that held a merciless, murderous gaze. He suddenly felt very unsafe. We're done.
That's it? That's how it ends?
That's how it ends. With a cliffhanger!
That was so fucking long. Unnecessarily long.
Again, just because you can write a lot of words does not make it good.
Also, I'll read this author's note in the comments because I don't care anymore.
I just think it's fucking hilarious at the end, too. He's just like, I feel unsafe, literally dick in hand.
Wow, I feel unsafe. Whoop! But he doesn't.
Yang got laid, and Raven the Nevermore appears. Yeah, he noticed the similarity because she hasn't opted to wear her mask. That's smart.
Excuse me? Excuse me? How do we say this? How did cyanide write a character that's really dumber than her rupee betrayal?
I don't know. I'm not done with the author's note. Merry motherfucking Christmas. Leave a comment if you'd like, and I'll see you in